lockdown begin. Raze back live again. Pop culture, entertainment, of course, the hot topics. Traveling somewhere in the tropics. Usually for Zerb, for smoke show panels, $1 million plays. We expanding the channel, they say opinions like assholes. Watch your mouth at all times, and don't mess up the cash flow. We live.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Raze back live again with some breaking news on this Tuesday afternoon, guys. Hit that like button as you guys come in, because we have a verdict reached in the Sean Diddy RICO racketeering sex trafficking trial, guys. A verdict has been reached. Ah, man, hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Woo! Oh, man. We got to talk about this, guys. We have to talk about this. Man, it is finally here. It is finally here. A partial verdict is reached. A partial verdict has been reached. So we got to get into the details of this stuff, man. This is big news, huge news. It's going to be plenty of speculation of what does this mean. They are still inside that courtroom right now. I did not go down there today. It was rainy and dreary, so I said, let me just stay in. Plus, I didn't know if they was gonna reach a verdict today anyway. But they have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, guys. Counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. But guess what? Guess what? They could not reach a verdict on count 1. Yes, count 1, guys. And what is count 1, guys? Let me let y'all say what count 1 is in the chat, guys. I've been railing against count 1 over the past couple of weeks, right? Count 1 is the RICO. Count 1 is the RICO conspiracy, running a criminal organization, in which I've been saying since I started listening to this trial that it is impossible to find Diddy guilty on RICO, because I don't believe that Sean Diddy Combs was running a organized criminal enterprise like the mafia, which is RICO racketeering, conspiracy. And they are saying now that the jurors, they are far apart and they are not budging on either side of guilty and not guilty on the RICO, guys. Hit that like button, guys. Woo! Huge news, huge news, huge news, guys. Huge news. Man. Now, what does that mean, guys? How is this gonna go? They are still, the judge is like, they want them to still keep deliberating. They want them to, because they don't want to like outright hung jury. Diddy's defense team wants them to continue to deliberate, right? The prosecution wants them to continue to deliberate. So, man, hit that like button, guys. What are y'all thinking? What are y'all thinking? How is this gonna go, guys? How is this gonna go? This is huge news right now, guys. This is huge news, and we are finally here. We are finally here, guys. We are finally here. This is breaking news. So far, it's right now it's a hung jury on the RICO. It's a hung jury on the RICO, and you know the predicates of the RICO, the predicates underneath the RICO and racketeering. Let me bring it up. Let me see. Let me bring it up, because a lot of people probably don't know what are the predicates and this and that underneath that RICO that they cannot just come to a decision on. That was count number 1, and I believe count number 1 may have been the thing they started on yesterday, and they had that wild card juror, that rogue juror was like, you know what I mean? I don't agree with you guys, and I'm not gonna follow the judge's instructions on this. And maybe that was the RICO, because RICO is charge number 1. You know what I'm saying? So it's all starting to come together now, guys. Oh, man. Will Diddy walk, guys? Will Diddy walk? Now, here is the crimes that are considered covered by the RICO as the predicate acts, right? We got the arson. Oh, that was Kid Cudi's car, guys. Kid Cudi's car. Arson. Bribery. Oh, bribery, guys. Bribery. You're going down. Oh, the $20,000 payment to what? To Cassie's mother for supposedly not releasing the freak off videos of Cassie. They can't decide. They can't decide on the bribery. They can't decide on the arson, guys. Hit that like button. This is huge news. This is huge news. I was telling you guys. Yo, Diddy may walk, guys. Diddy may walk. A huge upset. A huge upset right now. Yo, this is crazy. Now let's see. We got what so under the racket. Now let me see what else we have under the predicates of the RICO. Okay, we got the gambling. Extortion is another one, guys. Extortion. All right. Kidnapping, guys. So if they can't say kidnapping, Capricorn Clark said she was kidnapped. Right? Capricorn Clark said she was kidnapped. Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifio, said that wasn't a kidnapping. She was able to go home each day. That wasn't a kidnapping. They can't decide on the kidnapping, guys. Oh, man. They can't decide on the kidnapping. And they are not budging. Each side is not budging, guys. You got to hit that like button. What else is up there? Let me see. Kidnapping. Okay. Witness tampering. Counterfeiting. That doesn't fall in. All right. Distribution of controlled substance. Controlled substance. That's underneath the predicate of the RICO, and they can't decide. Remember, earlier today, the jurors asked, late last night, they asked for instructions on what is distribution of narcotics, right? They said, well, if you have your own narcotics, you just hand it off to somebody, that's distribution, right? Some of those jurors is not going for it. And I said this yesterday when I was at the court outside. I was like, do not let them get away with this, because multiple people, half of America, probably smoke some joints and smoke blunts and share their blunts with their friends on the stoops, in inner cities and on the stoops of their homes. And they pass around the blunts. If that's the case, everybody would be guilty of drug distribution. Are you going to arrest everybody for sharing a blunt on a stoop? This is all falls underneath the RICO. That's why I got this up here, guys. And they cannot decide. They are hung right now. On the RICO racketeering. And that carried a minimum of 10 years. The RICO racketeering carried a minimum of 10 years. Now, they have reached the verdict on count 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? They have reached the verdict, but it's not announced. It's not announced yet. I'm still following this, trying to get some more information on what's going on right now. The judge, the prosecution, and Diddy's defense team wants them to continue to deliberate, right? They want them to continue to deliberate. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everybody who donated yesterday. It was an epic day yesterday. Now we are here with a verdict reached, guys. Let's see. This ain't good for your boy. How is it? You talk about good for Diddy? And Mac, how you figure? They are hung on RICO. Some of you guys, boy, and Mac, you guys are reaching further than the feds. Bringing a RICO racketeering charge in the first place. You guys are reaching. How is this not good for Diddy? They are hung on RICO. Do you know RICO carries a minimum of 10 years? That means they are hung on the arson. They are hung on the on the bribery stuff that y'all guys was telling me. Oh, they proved. Y'all was telling me, oh, they proved RICO. How can you not know they proved RICO? Raze? How? Well, obviously, according to these jurors, they ain't prove a damn thing about RICO. Hit that like button, guys. Now, here's what's going on right now. The judge is saying, I could tell them that they could return on July 3rd. He talked about the jurors. Oh, man, we could arrange that. What do the parties think? All right. What do you guys think about telling the jurors to return on July 3rd? Right now it's July 1st. So he's telling the jurors, maybe, go home and return to the court July 3rd. That's the day before 4th of July, right? So that'll be today, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wait a minute. Today is July 1st. Today is July 1st. Tomorrow will be Wednesday, July 2nd. Thursday will be the 3rd. Okay. So then Diddy's lawyer says, our preference is that you don't tell them now about Thursday. Okay, that'll be the 3rd. The downside is that the jurors might feel rushed to reach a verdict to avoid the Thursday issue of the 4th of July because the court is going to be closed on the 4th of July. Let them deliberate tomorrow. You could ask at the end of tomorrow. So Diddy's lawyer said, look, don't tell them about coming back on Thursday because we don't want them to rush their verdict on Thursday. Let them deliberate tomorrow. Now, right now, they are still in deliberations. I don't know if they excuse them for the rest of the day. I don't know. I don't know the instructions, so I'm just following what I'm getting in right now. Okay. And, this was a little bit earlier. We have received a note at 4:05 p.m. today. It reads, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, which is the RICO, racketeering, conspiracy, all right, as we have jurors on each side, all right, on each side that are unable to budge, right? They are unable to budge, and they are not coming to a consensus on the RICO racketeering, okay? Man, let's see. Let's see what y'all saying in the chat, guys. And Mac. I don't see how you can say this is not good for Diddy right now. He has to get this stuff knocked down. Look, Diddy is the underdog right now. He is the underdog, right? The feds came with the RICO racketeering, the sex trafficking, all those other things, right? 2 counts of sex trafficking, one for Jane, one for Cassie, right? And then the other 2, charges for, a prostitution, right? The Mann Act, right? So they have reached a verdict on those, right? They have reached a verdict on those, but they have not reached a verdict on the RICO racketeering that carries a minimum sentence of 10 years, right? Hung jury on that so far until they deliberate more. Now, the next big one is going to be sex trafficking. Sex trafficking, the minimum is 15 years, right? So if they come back with a verdict, all 12 say he is guilty of trafficking either Jane or Cassie, because they could say, oh, well, he's not guilty of trafficking Jane, but they could come back and say he's guilty of trafficking Cassie, sex trafficking. And that's a minimum of 15 years. So it's going to be interesting, though. All right, he wouldn't be guilty of RICO and nothing else, but he could be found guilty of everything else and not RICO. Well, we're gonna find out. I guess tomorrow if they. I don't know when they're gonna read it off, but I'm gonna try to get an update for you guys. Diddy is coming home today. Shout out to you. You said Diddy is coming home today, but like I said, the breaking news: the jury is hung on a RICO racketeering. They are hung on RICO racketeering. Shout out to you, AKA Melissa. How you doing? How you doing, Melissa? What y'all thinking? What y'all thinking? Where's my cheesecake? Raze? Street smarts. How is this going to go down? This right now. How is this going to go down, guys? How is this going to go down? Oh man, they cannot agree on RICO racketeering. That's the big one. Well, really, the big one, to be honest with you, is the sex trafficking because that's a minimum of 15 years. I don't know how, for the life of me, I don't know how these sentencing guidelines work, but I don't know how the RICO racketeering could be less minimum than the sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? So if they come back with a guilty that he trafficked Cassie, that's 15 years. So that means she's gonna be made $30 million off of that man. Did movies because of the clout she got from him, and he's still gonna go to jail for 15 years. Wow, at least 15 years to life. So that's gonna be that's a huge decision. I don't know if they get to all 12 jurors to decide on. I don't know. I don't even know. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. They have a verdict, so obviously, they have a verdict on those other charges. So Diddy is coming home, says Mo. I'm coming home, coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Yeah, man. Hit the like button, guys. Ah, man. Nope, Nets. Well, I'm not wearing a Knicks hat. Are you crazy? I'm not wearing a Knicks hat. They're trying to hire that lady Dawn Stanley. What's the name from South Carolina? The Knicks are clowns, bro. I'm not wearing a Knicks hat. You know, they fired a coach that the first time in 20 years got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not wearing a Knicks hat, bro. I rock the Nets hat all day long, bro. Yeah. Brooklyn. It's too rainy. It was too rainy out there. And I wasn't sure if they was gonna come down with a verdict or not. You know what I'm saying? But for sure I'll go out to the courthouse again tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be nice, and more than likely they're gonna keep deliberating, and the judge is gonna give them instructions. More than like I'm gonna have an update in a couple of minutes to keep deliberating, and they should come with a verdict on tomorrow if they can reach one for the RICO racketeering. They are hung right now. They are hung right now, and when they saying the judge is like, look, continue on because you know we have to have a whole nother jury come in to decide on the RICO racketeering or whatever, or the feds could just drop that part, or they could work out a plea deal on that. And he was like, look, no other jury is better to handle this because y'all been sitting here for the past a month and a half hearing the case. Go ahead and go back and continue and deliberate and come back with a unanimous decision, guilty or not guilty on a RICO. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on right now. Diddy's defense team has no problem with them going ahead and finishing up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Quad God Machine. This is huge news though, guys. This is huge news. Diddy may actually beat the charges. He might actually that RICO thing was hanging over him, guys. That RICO racketeering is hanging over him. That's a huge one. That is a huge one. And he has great hope right now. I told you, Brian Steele, Mark Agnifilo, Westmoreland, he hired a dream team, guys. And people's complaining, oh, why he's not calling up no witnesses because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Less is more, right? Less is more. And right now, that dream team, the people he's paying, that some people, some haters or whatever was like, oh, he's paying them for nothing. They have got the jury, right? They have got the jury in a state of a hung verdict right now on the RICO. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button, guys. And that's all you can ask for if you're Diddy. Because there's no guarantees with this. You know what I'm saying? There is no guarantees with this, guys. But they are in a state of a hung jury on the RICO racketeering. Oh, man. Hit that like button, guys. All right, MMAX says, but counts 3 to 5 are standalone acts. He has been found guilty of something. Who knows? I don't know. Now, people that wants him to be found guilty of something, MMAC, you're hoping you hoping he's found guilty of something. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm thinking if he is found guilty of something, and many people have been saying, since the lower charges is the Mann Act, right? 2 charges on the Mann Act, engaging in prostitution, which carries a sentence of up to 10 years, right? I think it's a minimum of 2 years to up to 10 years. Maybe, you know, with their deliberations and stuff, they're like, look, let's find him something. Let's find him guilty of something. We'll make the feds happy. We think he did engage in a prostitution. We're not going to come up here and say he didn't do prostitution, and let the judge be the decider on what the sentence will be, because the judge can sentence him to 10 years on that. I don't think he would, but he could say, well, since y'all didn't find him guilty on the other stuff, this judge has been biased, guys. The judge can say, I don't like Diddy. I don't like the defense, because the judge was a former prosecutor, and he's only been a judge for the past 2 years. This judge, he's an Indian dude. Seems like he don't really like Diddy and his defense team. He could say, well, since y'all didn't find him guilty on the big stuff, I'm going to sentence him on the maximum of of 10 years, which some legal experts are saying they won't, that the judge, they rarely do that because Diddy is going to be a first-time person that's been convicted on something. So more than likely, the judge will give him the minimum. And if you give it a minimum, it'll be 2 years with time served. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Diddy would have to do it like another year in prison, and he'd get out. But I don't know. He hasn't been found guilty of anything yet because they have not read off the verdicts. But one thing for sure, they are hung right now. Hung right now. And he could still get 0 years in Mac. So why are you happy? You know what I'm saying? Hey, nobody knows in Mac. See, in Mac, you are very nervous right now in Mac. You know what I mean? You are very nervous. And I guess Tisa Tells is probably, going through hell right now, or her people over there on that channel. Everybody else who has a invested interest of this man being found guilty. I'm glad I stood outside that courthouse yesterday, railing on the system, railing on this not being a racketeering case. And this should never have even made it this far to the court system, right? And the judge himself should have threw this damn thing out, right? Now the jurors is taking it upon themselves to bring justice and to right a wrong, and I highly appreciate the jurors right now that are using common sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they do find him guilty on the sex trafficking, so be it. So be it. I just didn't want to set the precedent on them finding him guilty of the RICO racketeering, guys, because that has set a horrible precedent, right? Bad Boy Records was not a criminal organization, a criminal enterprise like the mafia. No way. So I'm good. Now, I still don't think he sex trafficked Jane. And I don't think he sex trafficked Cassie because they were just together too long. They were in relationships. But I can live with a verdict of sex trafficking, whatever. If they, I cannot live with a verdict on RICO racketeering because I definitely believe the feds overreached on that BS, that garbage, that trash. Okay? All right. Hit the like button. Woo. Let me see. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Charges 2 through 5 are predicate crimes. That's street smarts. Double tap the live people subscribe. Yes, hit the live button. Hit the like button, guys. DSW, my guy. What are you thinking, DSW? What's gonna be the verdict, DSW? You know what I'm saying? Woo! Woo! Street smarts charges 2 through 5 are predicate crimes. Yeah, but why? I mean, they can't even come to an agreement on RICO racketeering, street smarts. You know what I'm saying? Diddy's defense team they've done their job. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Zeb. Zeb is in the building. Cooked. Most people didn't get caught doing it, says Zeb. Oh, Zeb, you see, hey, you Zeb, everybody that want Diddy to be found guilty, y'all gotta be worried about what's going on right now. Now, matter of fact, let me try to get another update. Let me get an update on for what's going on inside that courtroom. If anybody has an update, let me know inside the chat. You know what I'm saying? If any one of you guys have an update, let me know because I'm following this in real time right now. Breaking news, guys, for people that are just coming in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, subscribe. Ben Vlogs Live TV is in the building. No, if they not got caught yet, hey, half of America have been passing around drugs, to each other. A person who use drugs, Ben, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. So and that's part of the predicate of the RICO, and the jurors is not buying it. You know what I'm saying? So let me see what's going on inside that courtroom. I see a super chat. Diddy is cooked. They made a decision on counts 2 to 5. Yeah, but what's the decision on count? We can't say thank you for the $199. Thank you for the $199 donation. Yeah, they made a decision, but what's the decision? What if the decision is not guilty? So just because they made a decision, that don't mean it's guilty or not guilty. So I don't get that. I mean, now wishful thinking for the people that want Diddy to be not guilty, people could say, well, he's going to be found not guilty. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they find him guilty on the, like I said, the Mann Act, prostitution, and not guilty on the sex trafficking, because they know the sex trafficking carries a minimum sentence of 15 years, and they are negotiating that stuff. They are negotiating that stuff between them. They know, they read the internet, they know what the sentencing guidelines are for these things. So they probably came to a consensus line. Let's find them not guilty on the sex trafficking, but let's find them guilty on the Mann Act to engage in prostitution. Which that would be a win for Diddy, but you just don't know how the judge would sentence him, because, like I said, that the Mann Act is a sentence of up to 10 years. Or they could just say not guilty and everything. I mean, who knows? Let me see. I mean, I'm not gonna come up here and lie to you guys and act like I know exactly what those jurors are gonna do. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? But Diddy has to be happy. He has to be happy. Diddy's defense team has to be happy that they were able to pull out a hung jury so far with the RICO racketeering. You know what I'm saying? All right. It says judge says all rise. Judge says very briefly, thank you. Tomorrow go directly into the jury room. Keep an open mind. Do not watch or read anything about the case. We'll see each other tomorrow. So tomorrow they're going to finish deliberating, guys. He's told them to continue deliberating, right? To keep deliberating on the RICO racketeering, guys. And the defense seemed happy about that. You know what I'm saying? The defense wanted them to go back tomorrow and continue to deliberate. Now, it's going to be a lot of legal experts now, and YouTubers and people on Instagram and TikTok saying, what does this mean for tomorrow? What does this mean for those other verdicts, 2, 3, 4, and 5 that they have reached? Man, woo, man. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Diddy has hope. There is hope for Diddy, guys. There is hope for Diddy. There is hope for Diddy right now. And Mac, they have gone home for the day. Yes. Free Diddy says put it in. Nice name. Put it in. Man, Ben Vlogs lost $50. Oh, Ben Vlogs, you had a bet going? You had a bet going on this? All right, Tracy King, no RICO, no nothing. Now, do y'all guys agree with Tracy King? No RICO, no nothing. I'm trying to see. Now they are hung on a RICO, and that all those predicates is underneath the RICO, right? The arson, the bribery, and like I said, I've been up here and people kept swearing up and down he has to be found guilty on that. The feds proved all that, and I kept telling y'all, wait a minute, they did not prove arson. They did not prove the bribery, because really that's all hearsay. Yeah, they had witnesses come up there and say that happened, but even the witnesses did not see Diddy burn that man's car, right? There's no evidence that Diddy actually told that Cassie's mother that he was going to release a freak off tape if she don't pay the $20,000. According to Cassie, he told Cassie that, and Cassie told her mother that, but there's no proof or evidence of that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's been telling me Raze, they proved it. It's obvious. You just don't see. How can I don't see no RICO racketeering. You know what I'm saying? I see individual acts of a jealous boyfriend. I see a guy in Sean Diddy Combs, which you can't say he has criminal ways. I see a jealous man and females. I see gold diggers that went around Diddy and accepted that he is a swinger. Accepted that he liked to watch them have sex acts with other men. They accepted that for the clout, to get in movies. Cassie was in a movie during the time she got beat up inside. She had a movie coming out. She didn't want the bad publicity. That's why they paid for the videotape. There was no police investigation. People kept swearing up and down, that's bribery. I was like, nope, there was no police investigation. So some of the jurors are seeing it the same way as us that we were saying. You know what I mean? And I'm glad they are stuck on the RICO racketeering, because I don't believe for any stretch of imagination that Bad Boy Records was a criminal organization, guys. Hit that like button. This is a huge day right now. Rich people problems. Yes, these is all consenting adults. And guys, no underage A minors. This is not R. Kelly. This is not R. Kelly. Everybody watching, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. He's looking at 10 plus or already for the guilty charges. RICO is life. RICO is a minimum of 10 years. The sex trafficking is 15 years to life. Minimum 15 years, right? If they strike off the RICO racketeering, that's huge right there. Nobody knows about 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have zero idea how they're gonna. Well, legal experts are gonna be trying to, predict now and this and that. But we don't know what those jurors are gonna decide. You know what I'm saying? But keep wishing, street smarts. Hey, everybody. If y'all don't like Diddy, so be it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like him. I'm just telling you that Diddy's defense team did a great job, and they got the jury hung on RICO. People gonna be big mad and big sad and worried about that, but it is what it is. Let's see. DSW says, and shout out to you, bro. Count one RICO is he was running an enterprise, and yes, if you tell your staff you pay to cover your dirt work, then you can have a RICO. It's gray area because he didn't start the company as that. Yeah, it's a gray area, but like we said, with the mafia, you join the mafia knowing that you're going to get into doing crimes and doing rackets and doing that. Like I said, it was just him having criminal tendencies and doing purchasing drugs for himself and this and that. I just think it was a great area. It was always a great area, and it was always a push, and I think it was always a reach. You know what I'm saying? It was always a reach, and it sets a bad precedent. That's what I'm saying. It didn't need you didn't need to bring the RICO racketeering into play to actually find him guilty on stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was saying the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It was unnecessary. You know what I mean? Diddy getting 6 years. So your prediction is 6 years. Your prediction is 6 years. Hit that like button, guys. This is huge. The jury is so far right now is hung. They are hung. We might as well say they have a hung jury on a RICO racketeering, and nobody has zero clue on the other charges. Remember, the other charges is 2 for the Mann Act with engaging in prostitution. The other 2 is the sex trafficking. The other 2 charges: sex trafficking Jane and Cassie by force, coercion, and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So hit that like button, guys. The jury just told, yes, start again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Woo, man. Now, tomorrow we're going to be out there because I think there's going to be a verdict tomorrow. Well, they already reached the verdict. Now, they could just go ahead and read the other verdicts, if they find out that, look, we're going to stay hung on RICO. There's no coming back from that. We're just going to stay hung on it. Let's read off the other verdicts, and you know what I'm saying? Because that can happen also. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you wishing that. You're wishing that street smarts, and some people wishing he's not. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So you still have your hope, street smarts, and Diddy still has hope that he's walking because they are hung right now. Street smarts. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? So the judge says he won't take a partial verdict. He might have to, though, Maria. Eventually, if let's say if they go to tomorrow, then the next day, whatever, and they still are going to be hung on that. He can't force them to come back. You know what I'm saying? If they stay hung, that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to remain hung. So the judge can, you know what I mean? Now it's his right to tell them to continue to deliberating. But if they are just not going to come to a unanimous decision on that, he's going to have to just accept it. You know what I'm saying? They can't force the people to all agree. For the sake of agreeing, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, the longer it goes, he's going to have to just accept the partial verdict. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to have to. There's no other way around it. You know what I'm saying? Diddy and Suge in prison. Life is great. Well, so far he's in prison, but hey, he might be getting off. It's 15 years to life. Yeah, 15 years to 20. 15 years is 15 years, 25 to life on the. Well, I know the sex trafficking is 15 years of life. The RICO would have been 10 years, right? Minimum 10 years to life. Carlos said, did he go into jail for being a freak? LOL. He should have just become a passport bro. Yeah, and the passport bros, guys, I keep warning you guys, Y'all talk about flying in Dominican chicks, flying in Brazilian chicks to the States and this and that. Look, they're trying to nail people on flying females around, flying 304s around, flying this Jane character, who is a 304 around. You know what I'm saying? Collect, she got paid 150 grand. You know what I'm saying? Flying her around. She was in a relationship with the man. You know what I'm saying? Now you guys say you going or in relationship with them girls out in DR, you fly them here. Well, they could get you on sex trafficking right now, the way it's looking. Even if you're in a relationship, y'all break up, she could be called to testify and have the government tell her that she's your victim. Tell her that, you know, he flew you in from a third world country and he took advantage of you. He coerced you. He dangled at the American dream in front of you. He dangled a nice American house, American pie, some US dollars in front of you, and he coerced you to leave your humble home out there inside the Dominican Republic to come here to get into a relationship, even though you keep saying, you know, hey Maria, you keep saying you're in love with the guy, you know, but no, you're a victim. And this is what the feds is doing with Jane. That's why, they gotta find him not guilty to sex trafficking too, because that also sets a bad precedent. You know what I'm saying? They gotta find him not guilty on they gotta acquit that man. They gotta acquit that man on sex trafficking, because that's bull. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and find him guilty on if y'all want to find him guilty on something, find him guilty on the Mann Act, on the engaging in prostitution. But you need to go raid the you need to go raid the prostitute company or the escort company that actually sold him the prostitutes. How is Punisher going around doing interviews? He's not arrested. You know what I'm saying? If y'all really think that's a big crime, go ahead and arrest all those prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see prostitutes hanging out on the streets of street corners out here in New York City. Y'all see prostitutes everywhere in the USA. If that's a big deal, go arrest them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are targeting one guy. Now, yeah, exactly. I believe they agree he did this stuff independently. What they don't agree on, and I never agreed it was enterprise in Mac. That's all, that's all I've been saying in Mac. But I still think, I don't believe Jane was a traffic. And the thing about Cassie and Mac is just that she was with him so long. You get what I'm saying? These are grown. She was with him so long. Like, it still sets a bad precedent. It still sets a bad precedent. All right. So let me see. It will be all unanimous verdict on every charge, says Zed Bates. Well, we'll see. And it might be anonymous, not guilty. You know what I'm saying? It may be anonymous on guilty on the Mann Act. Diddy Free says HB going global. Well, tomorrow they got to come back. They're coming back tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going anywhere, says Scott. Well, I know, hey, you might be right. Who knows? You know, if Diddy don't catch the RICO, I'll let you slide on the cheesecake. All right. I don't have to go down to Brooklyn, to the Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. You know, they found a bunch of rats inside that Juniors, though, years ago. You know, when, but they, it was a bunch of rats running around those cheesecakes, you know what I'm saying, on video when it was closed. Yeah, that was disgusting. You know what I'm saying? I heard 2 jurors are not agreeing with delay. Maria, oh wow. So man, the jury, all basketball sucks now. Yeah, man, these players continue to get hurt too easily. The star players keep getting hurt too easily. It's ruining the integrity of the game and the entertainment value of the NBA. Because the star players, the NBA has always been a star-driven league, and your stars keep getting hurt in the playoff games, in game 7s. It kills the league. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they can do to fix that. I don't think they can. If your NBA, if the product you're selling and the star players are fragile, you don't have a product. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a long-lasting product. If he beat RICO, the Fed going to be mad because they could have did this in the state. Yeah, they could have did these stuff in the state. In Fanboy podcast. I just think, I think it was unnecessary to do the RICO, to bring RICO. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Webby in the building. Dawn would be a great coach for y'all. Hell no. Hell no. She coaches women's basketball, Christopher Webby. She gets all of the best recruits in women's basketball. That's totally different scheme. No. She's only successful because she gets the best recruits in women's basketball. In the great talent of women in the USA is not that great. No way in hell. They should have just kept Coach Tibbs. It ran it back. Indiana Pacers got injuries. Boston Celtics got injuries. They should have just ran it back, and they would have made the finals with Coach Tibbs. Now they're experimenting. They're doing nonsense. Like, it's crazy. Now I hear they might hire Mr. Potato Head, Mike Brown, another retread coach. Well, that'll be better than that Dawn Staley. You might as well go get a coach from PAL that coach teenagers. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you're gonna do all that, let me see. It's not raining in the Bronx. The new mayor of New York City encouraged Knicks hiring Dawn Staley for head. Oh my God, Buck Travel. Oh my God. Now the mayor of New York City is still Mayor Adams. That Islamic dude, he's just running for mayor right now. He's running for mayor. He's not the new mayor. He's just a candidate. Islamic dude. Bing bong, baby oil, you heard? You know? Eureka, what you doing? What you got to say about this, Eureka? Haha, I'm back on Diddy's toast. Done, son. Nope. Hey, Eureka. Eureka. They are hung on a RICO. That can't be good news for your team, Eureka. It can't be good news. You know what I'm saying? That can't be good news for the feds. They can't be good news for the feds, Eureka. Don is laughing. Salute to you, Don. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Sean Combs is guilty. Why you keep saying he coming home today? They cannot find you guilty on 2 charges, but be guilty on the rest and still be sentenced to a minimum and max sentence. Yeah, they could. I mean, they could. But nobody knows. Nobody knows. I wish they would have had the unanimous decision on the RICO racketeering, but they are hung. They are hung on that. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what they decided on the other stuff. You know what I mean? Who knows? It's going to be, your guess is as good as mine and everybody else's. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do this again. You know what I'm saying? 10 years or less guilty on 3 charges. 10 years or less guilty on 3 charges. Yeah. All right. So they probably found them guilty on the lowest charges just to make people happy. They could go ahead home for 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? But not find them guilty on the big ones, sex trafficking and the RICO. Now, I don't know would that be considered a win for people? It'll be considered a win for Diddy because he's facing a lot. You know what I'm saying? So he would just have to accept that and hope that the judge don't give him the maximum of 10 years for the Mann Act. You know what I'm saying? The Mikey story. Tomorrow they will deliberate on count 1, but they have reached a verdict on count 2, 3, 4. Yes. But nobody knows what the verdict is. They reached the verdict. But really, I mean, me coming up here saying they reached a verdict of not guilty on this count, I don't have a clue. Nobody has a clue, not even the judge. But it's fun to speculate. People are going to have a ball speculating. You know what I'm saying? People are going to have a ball speculating. They're going to have the legal scholars speculating. They're going to have Tisa Tales speculating. You know what I'm saying? But it's better to be hung right now on RICO than to have a verdict on RICO, because at least that gives a clue that the jury is having a problem reaching a decision on at least one of the charges. You know what I'm saying? So that bodes well for Diddy. You know what I'm saying? That bodes well for Diddy. Nobody could come up here and tell you. They will be absolutely lying if they tell you that this is bad for Diddy. No way on this planet, no way on any other planet in this solar system is this bad for Diddy. The only thing that would have been bad for Diddy is to be found guilty on RICO. They are hung right now, so that's some hope. But like I said, we don't know what the verdict is on 2, 3, 4, 5. We just don't know. Salute to you, Raze. Thank you for your coverage, says Alan. Salute to you, Alan. Appreciate you for coming up. Yes, no, yes. Appreciate you coming up. Eureka says at least 20 years. Hey, you can only dream. You can only dream, Eureka. I mean, who knows? Free Diddy says Dean. Diddy belongs in jail forever, Raze. Well, hey, okay, it's your opinion. Your opinion. It is what it is. I ain't gonna say you're wrong because everybody got the opinion. If you want him in jail for life, I mean, he's not on trial for murder, but hey, it's your decision. It's only going to be not guilty of all charges or guilty of all charges. That's the only reason they are delaying it right now, to make it unanimous all across the board, says Zeb. Yes, because I'm thinking for it to be an acquittal, you need them to say not guilty, all 12, right? For it there to be a guilty, you need them to say guilty on all 12. Anything in between would be a hung jury, like it was going on with the RICO racketeering. Anything, if it's only one or two, or even just one, say not guilty, or the rest say guilty, or 3 or 4 say guilty and the rest say not guilty. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But who knows? I mean, y'all guess is as good as mine. Nobody really knows. You know what I'm saying? People gonna speculate though. It's Canada Day here, but I'm too glued to this trial. Praying Diddy is free. This scares me, says Maria. All right. I think he will be guilty on 2 charges and serve a minimum of 30 years. Wow. That's harsh. Well, let's make some predictions. Well, the sex trafficking of Jane is a charge, and the sex trafficking of Cassie is a charge. What is your prediction on that? Will he be found unanimously guilty? Is that because it's a unanimous verdict? I mean, it's either guilty or not guilty. So they came to a unanimous verdict. I don't think he's going to be found guilty of sex trafficking. I think he's going to be found not guilty on the 2 sex trafficking. I think they're going to find him guilty on the 2 counts of the Mann Act, which is a maximum sentence of up to 10 years. And they're going to put it in the judge's hands on sentencing. That's my prediction. So I say my prediction is not guilty on the 2 sex trafficking. That's 15 years of life. And they say, you know what? Let's split the baby. We know some of your jurors don't want to find him guilty. Let's find him guilty of something. Let's find him guilty of the Mann Act, which is the engaging in the prostitution, and let the judge sentence him how he may, see fit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'll be appropriate. I think that would be appropriate in this case. This was not a criminal organization, racketeering. You know what I'm saying? I think the charges were exaggerated. You know what I mean? They didn't get him on the beating up Cassie because the statute of limitations was ran out on that. I could live with them finding him guilty on the Mann Act prostitution garbage, which I still think I say is garbage because those are grown folks doing grown folks things. So I still think, matter of fact, I hope they find him not guilty on all of them. To be honest with you, because they like you are in people's lives, like they need to change that law. But the law is the law, right? But anyway, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They need to change that garbage law. Where's all the liberals in the country? Where's the Democrats? I thought the Democrats was for freedom and this and that. All Republicans, like when Republicans want freedom, they don't want people in the people's bedrooms. Like, I don't know what they're doing with these laws. So I hope he's found not guilty on all these charges. But I can live with them finding him guilty on the prostitution. Let the judge see fit on the sentencing. I believe the sentencing for that is minimum 2 years of up to 10 years. McFly, hope you go with him since you're cheerleading so tough. Well, you better say that to the jurors, bro, McFly. The jurors is the one deciding on this. So you should send a letter to those jurors. You know what I'm saying? You should go to that courtroom tomorrow, the courthouse tomorrow, hold up your sign and tell the jurors that's making a decision and that's got the hung jury right now on a RICO. You should be mad at them. Don't get mad at me. I gave you my reasons why I wouldn't find them guilty on any of these things, McFly. So your grievance is with the actual people that can find them guilty or not. So you need to take your butt down here to the court and hold up the sign, and tell those jurors to go hang with him. You know what I'm saying? If they did find him not guilty. I got 3 bottles of baby oil on no RICO, but guilty on most of the other charges. Bruce M2. Hey, and hey, we'll see tomorrow. I mean, it's a roll of the dice right now with that bet. You know what I'm saying? If Diddy becomes guilty, real harsh law changes on everyone. Careful what you wish for. Yes, and plus that prostitution stuff. I think I can see them making prostitution legal in the future anyway. So I don't understand. You see, I think the government, they really wanted him on the RICO racketeering. They wanted to bring this RICO because they wanted to set a new precedent. You know what I'm saying? If they found him guilty on RICO racketeering, they wanted to use this to set a precedent for the future for other people. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the real one. I think they'll accept the sex trafficking because they can still get a minimum of 15 years. But I'm like, what the hell did Diddy do to, like, what did he do to one of these people to want them to go after him so harshly for this stuff? This stuff, they could have handled this stuff in the state. They could have got him on engaging in prostitution via state charges. You get what I'm saying? What was all this about? This was a huge overreach. And I'm glad the jury is hung right now. I'm glad the jury is hung on a RICO. I'm glad. Good. He guilty on domestic violence. That's it, says Hood Rich. Let me see. Why you ignoring fact? What, you have 0 facts. Your facts are just saying he's a weirdo, which we all know he's a weirdo. I said he's a weirdo. Why am I locking him up for life? He didn't kill nobody. Troll star. So I mean, you could. I mean, it is what it is. If you have other evidence, you should have hit up the prosecution, the feds. You should have snitched. They went to the feds, Troll star, and said, "Hey, I got some evidence that can get Diddy locked up for life." You know what I'm saying? Hey, Troll star, if you got the evidence that could lock Diddy up for life, you know what I'm saying? If you think he did something to, like, the rumor, y'all be coming up with idiotic rumors. Oh, he took out Biggie. He took out Tupac. Well, if y'all got evidence, go ahead and snitch. Go to the feds and tell them. Bring your evidence, and then maybe you could get him locked up for life. But not in this trial, unless they find him guilty for sex trafficking. I mean, which is a joke. And I'm telling you, if they do get him for sex trafficking, that sets a bad precedent also. Those are grown folks doing grown folks things. Let me see. And like I said, I'm going to continue to play my guy, Lionel Legal. Lionel Legal probably doing cartwheels and happy about this right now. You know, our guy Lionel Legal, who is a legal expert. You don't got, like I said, y'all don't got to keep listening to Raze. You know, just listen to this old fella right here. Give y'all the real deal.
I recognize the fact that what I'm saying is incredibly redundant, and I know you've heard me for the millionth time, and I'm going to say it for the millionth time because I think it's important and critical that everybody understands what this is. There is no way that if there exists any kind of a law, any kind of criminal justice system, that Diddy should be found guilty of anything. And this may confound you, it may bother you, crazy, because he's not guilty of what they charged him with in federal court. You don't throw these terms around. You don't say things like trafficking and racketeering and violation of the Mann Act and the white slavery statute because a couple of people were involved in what appeared to be basically a big house party and orgy run amok. If you go through the facts of this, that's what's important. And that's what I've been talking and saying. The idea of a racketeering conspiracy is ridiculous. This was no enterprise. This was not the mafia. This was not the Colombos or the Lucchese's. This was a celebrity entourage, a group, a posse. Notice I spelled it P-O-S-S-E. There is no relatedness. There was no enterprise. There is the relatedness component of this, where you can say that the alleged acts and the drugs and the sex and the money and all of that stuff were isolated incidents, not a part of a coordinated plan. And second of all, there's no continuity. No relatedness, no continuity. The incidents were episodic, chaotic, abusive to be sure, but not organized.
Not organized. So the jury is listening and smacking down this RICO garbage. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to get it all. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So I'm happy about that. That they are coming to their senses in there. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That would have set a bad precedent, a horrible precedent. Let's hope the people that are holding out on the RICO can't be is not convinced to go ahead and find him guilty. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. Diddy is a swinger, not a criminal organizer. Yes, definitely. Maria with the heart. So Lionel Legal, subscribe to his channel. Lionel Legal channel did a great job. Are y'all gonna listen to the wise white guy? Because y'all don't want to listen to Raze. So are y'all gonna listen to Lionel Legal, the older wise white guy? That's a legal lawyer.
Chaotic, abusive to be sure, but not organized, not systemic. No one was employed in a criminal network. Friends and girlfriends and staff all voluntarily were present in the orbit, the gravitational pull of fame and excess. And that's the way that is. Simple. Simple. A house party, an orgy, isn't a racketeering enterprise. And to suggest that this was sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion is an abomination to the people who have been, in fact, actually involved in that. I would be furious if I was a practitioner. I would be furious. Consent, intent, whatever you want to call it, these were adult relationships at best. Messy, toxic, even manipulative, but they were not, were not trafficking. Agency and participation is another one. Agency as in being an agent. The victims, the putative victims, remained in relationships. They took money and accepted gifts and traveled by choice. No commercial sex arrangement, forced or brokered, was there. It was intimate. It wasn't transactional. It was in the legal sense. Force, fraud, coercion. This is the thing. Did they ever call the police? Were there threats or just power imbalances? Intimidation versus a threat. Did people feel like they couldn't say no based upon the power differential?
There you go, the brilliant mind of Lionel Legal. Subscribe to his channel. Maria says she subscribed. Yes, yeah, he would have did good on the Diddy defense team. And I think Diddy's defense team did great with what they were working with. They were working with a overzealous federal government that hardly ever loses. They hardly never lose. 96% conviction rate. Well, a lot of those B plea deals and stuff like that, they hardly ever lose. So and so they've been the underdogs in all of this. And I think Diddy's defense team came through, at least getting them to get a hung jury so far on the RICO racketeering. But it's so many charges, you know what I mean? It's so many charges against Diddy. It's like, the feds don't play fair. The feds do not play fair. They give witnesses immunity, basically hovering a charge over the witnesses if they don't come testify on the favor of the prosecution against the defendant. The defendants, witnesses won't have immunity. So if Diddy's defense team would have put somebody on the stand that worked for Sean Diddy Combs Bad Boy Records, they would have opened themselves up to getting a charge in the future because they wouldn't have had no immunity. You get what I'm saying? So the feds don't play fair. You know what I mean? The feds don't play fair. But shout out to the old wily vet, Lionel Legal, for breaking down what I've been thinking. And I dropped the stream y'all link if anybody want to come up here and discuss what y'all think is going to happen tomorrow, because this is big news.
Threat. Did people feel like they couldn't say no based upon the power differential? Did the prosecution prove intent to exploit? There was seduction, to be sure, but not sex trafficking. This is what is critical. And as far as transportation for prostitution, the white slavery statute, the Mann Act violation, again, act or definition. No one was trafficked across state lines for prostitution. There was a private relationship, not a pimping. This wasn't assignation and all these other great common law crimes. You have to look at the definition of prostitution. Was sex offered for money, or was it part of a consensual, romantic, celebrity lifestyle? No. This is the most important thing in the world. Did the alleged victims, did they choose to travel for parties and events and relationships? Were they told to perform for pay? The prosecution has got to prove that Diddy intended to have someone cross state lines for illegal sex work. Period. End of discussion. And proving that beyond a reasonable doubt and beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt within a degree of moral certainty is very tough, to say the least. They travel for this is a defense spectacle. I have no earthly idea what motivated the Biden administration to involve themselves in this. I have no earthly idea whatever motivated them in the least to even pursue this. What were they thinking? What was the purpose of this? What? No one knows. No one can figure this thing out. Nobody can. I can't. I'm wondering why. What was the purpose of this? Why did you do this? What were you trying to accomplish? Why?
Why, oh, why? I agree with Lionel Legal. Like I said, subscribe to his channels. Got some people subscribing over there. This is, I've been saying it. And now we get the legal expert to say what I was thinking. And I'm no legal expert. And Raymond says, obviously, you're pro Diddy. Well, obviously, you're a Diddy hater. So, I'm pro law. I'm pro law. I'm pro charging Diddy properly. Like I said, I don't mind if you had him on assault or you had him on whatever state charges. I don't mind him being found guilty. So I wouldn't. I'm on anti-charging people on RICO, including you, Raymond. If they brought charges on you for RICO, and I felt that the RICO charges didn't fit the crime that you committed, Raymond Jurors, I would say, yo, throw this out. You know what I'm saying? I would say charge you correctly. So it's not about me being pro Diddy. It's about me being pro law. So pro correct law. You know what I'm saying? And not overreaching, as this lawyer said, Raymond. Let's see. Prosecutors always shoot for the wide, not one thing. Well, that's what I'm saying. The system is rigged against the defendant. It is what it is. So I mean, it's understandable. Maybe you're a prosecutor yourself. I don't know. Maybe maybe you just like seeing I'm not gonna say black men, but seeing men go to jail, get put in prison. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe you like it, overcrowded jail system. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Let me see. Yes, he is an actual lawyer. Yes, and like I said, subscribe to Lionel Legal. You know what I'm saying? There's no way they can't find them guilty, bro. Raymond, you know how many people have been telling me they proved RICO, they proved racketeering, they proved arson, they proved bribery, Raze, they proved kidnapping. No way they can't not find them guilty of RICO, Raze. He's a racketeer. You know how many people done been saying that over the past month, bro? Come on. They proved the RICO. They proved the arson. They proved the bribery, Raze. The feds don't miss. They proved it. And look at where we are. Hung jury on the RICO, racketeering, the arson, the kidnapping, the bribery. On people testimonies. People actually went up there and testified that stuff happened. And y'all was telling me that's evidence. And I kept telling you, like, wait a minute, that's circumstantial evidence. That's not video, that's not evidence. Raymond, you know the only real evidence we have? You know the Raymond. You know the only real. Let's be real. We got the beat up video of him beating up Cassie, which that's not charged. But the real evidence we have on audio, not hearsay, not somebody coming up there and saying this happened. We have audio of Cassie herself being a criminal, being a thug. Charger.
So you're telling me that he showed you a video of who kidnapped Cassie? Then that's not a real video because he's never
in that
me.
position. You would have been naked. I'm just saying, if you
So
were,
he's in the video.
I'm saying if I had a picture.
Is he in the video?
Yeah, but I'm saying if I had a picture.
Then that's not me.
But I'm just saying, look, hold on. You have to understand. If I had a picture of you naked.
If there's a picture of me naked, that's completely different than a video of me.
So
the video that he showed you, he's in it.
Yeah, we can try to pull it.
How are you gonna? Oh no, your phones are right here.
Try to pull it. You can try to pull it. You can try to pull it.
On the internet?
Yeah, you can try to pull it.
Where?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, which phone?
You can bring
The Samsung?
Yeah, you can bring it.
So you have it or you don't have it? Can you just be clear with me? Do you have it?
I saw it and I don't want to ever see it again.
I know you don't, but I want to see it.
Yeah, but I don't want to see it. Bro.
Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
No, I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, poor little sweet Cassie, the victim. Oh, poor little weak Cassie, threatening to kill people. Man, if that was Diddy on that audio, y'all guys would have had a field day with that. If that was Diddy on that audio, threatening to unalive someone, how was she not charged too? You know what I'm saying? You know, oh man. In Raymond, I was saying that's the only real evidence we have of stuff happening. Now you mentioned the Cassie getting beat up, but bro, that's not the charges. He's not charged with that. Now, I did say this the first time I went down to the court a few weeks ago. I said, what are the jury gonna do? I said everybody is disgusted over that, and I see you talking about the video. I've said this 10,000 times, Raymond. I said nobody likes the fact that he beat her up. He's not charged with it. That's not in the charges. The law doesn't work like that. Now, I did say, would the jury, because I was kind of hinting that this might not be a racketeering type case anyway from the beginning, but I was like, all right, let me hear the evidence and stuff, see what they got. And I said, if the jury don't find that this is a racketeering, would they go ahead and find him guilty of something else to make up for the fact that he beat up Cassie? And would it be like a makeup play, even though they don't really consider it a RICO racketeering, but maybe they'll find him guilty of something else just to give him some type of punishment for that beat up video. I said this 10,000 times. Now, of course, you're probably new to the channel, but I've said this 10,000 times. So you guys are framing it like I'm so like I don't want to see him punished for beating up. I said I can't punish him anyway because I'm not on the jury. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying she got paid $20 million for that. You know what I'm saying? And she got to pay the extra $10 million. She got paid $30 million. It's not, it was past the statute of limitations. It is what it is. I mean, there's a domestic violence problem in all countries. You know what I'm saying? People, it's bad. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, so, family is good, Josh. LOL, you're so funny, entertaining. Hey, I'm just trying to get to the, I'm just trying to bring the truth. You know what I mean, Maria? You know what I'm saying? Guys come up here and be saying this crazy stuff. All right. So when they find him guilty, don't be crying. No, I'm not. Hey, I'm not going to be the one going to jail. So I'm not going to be crying. You know what I'm saying? He's going to cry. Diddy going to cry, not me. I'm just going to get me some beers and chill. You know what I'm saying? I'll be down there. I'll be down in Chinatown. Go get me some roast duck. Be like, oh, that's messed up. They found Diddy guilty. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be crying. Diddy's family gonna be crying. I ain't gonna be crying. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just come. I'll come live. I'm coming live though. I'm gonna let y'all have y'all fun. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna not come live. He is found guilty. It is what it is. But but right now, Diddy should have some now. Diddy should have some hope right now. That's all you can hope for.
Why? What was the purpose of this? Why did you do this? What were you trying to accomplish? Why? What was the point? We don't know. This happens all the time. This was Hugh Hefner, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin. This has been going on. They do football games, and I've asked this question. There's about like 2,000 to 3,000 maybe total professional athletes in baseball, football, basketball in the United States, and of that group, of those folks, of that team, of that group, there are probably more independent groups negotiating parties and passels and hordes and orgies of women that you can imagine all the time. It's been going on since day one, and that's not right. It's immoral, fine, but it's not federal, and it's not. And if there is a God, he must be acquitted, because we cannot live in a system that would allow somebody to be, in essence, violated, to be, what am I trying to say, to be charged with this, to be prosecuted, merely because we don't like his sexual activities. Federal trafficking, think children, think people padlocked in trailers and tractor trailers and brought and transported and flown, and oh my God. He must be acquitted. If that jury is even 10% efficient, they've got to throw this out. And if by some stretch of the imagination he's found guilty of this, then they'll get him on appeal. They'll reverse it on appeal. This is horrible.
Lionel Legal, laying it down. I appreciate that guy. Lionel Legal, man. And I agree with Lionel Legal. This is like Hugh Hefner, guys. Hugh Hefner. I remember him. He dead now, but he had the Playboy Mansion, the Playboy Playmates. You know what I'm saying? They used to come through there. He used to traffic them through that Playboy Mansion, guys. No charges brung up, upon them. They didn't raid that Playboy Mansion. You know what I'm saying? They didn't look for his quote unquote girlfriends, trying to make them seem like they victims. You know what I'm saying? There was some money exchange. Prostitution is illegal, Raze. Oh, you can't bring them across state lines, Raze. Oh, but hey, it is what it is. But Hugh Hefner, rest in peace, he's dead now, so you can't. I mean, well, what I'm gonna do? And what's up? Where's Milano? Salute to you. Where's Milano? Is in the building. JoJo is in the building. You're on. It's ratchet cheering, not racketeering. Let's be honest, guys. Jane is a 304. Jane is a 304. Cassie, I wouldn't go too far as say she a 304. I would say she was in a long-term 13-year relationship. That's why I think they're gonna find him not guilty on the 2 charges of sex trafficking, and I think they'll likely split the baby and find him guilty on the Mann Act, which is engaging in prostitution, which carries a maximum of up to 10 years. And we call it a day, and we see what the judge sentenced him, and I'll live with that. No one crying here, Marie. Yeah, people crying, they ain't crying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Port City Investments is in the building. Yeah, I love that roast duck out there in Chinatown. I love that roast duck. Yeah, I got to go back to that spot I went to last night. You know what I'm saying? Get me some more roast duck, because I was out there last night. But the thing is, I'm trying to remember. I don't know the name of it because it was in Chinese writing. I don't know the name of the restaurant. It was in Chinese writing, but I'll find it. I found it. I'll find it again. Yeah. Let's see. What's his name? Jabras says people rather be in their feelings and not look at his actual charges. It's not about if you like Diddy. I mean, but in today's day and age, people are gonna have their opinion and stuff. Everybody is gonna have a voice now with social media and stuff. So it is what it is. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I like to have some fun over here with the people. In the chat. You know what I'm saying? I let them rock out. Kenny G Walk. Hello Bones. I don't take this stuff crazy serious, but I do think that RICO racketeering would set a horrible precedent, which I'm glad. Hopefully they stick to their guns and just throw that out. You know what I mean? The jurors keep that hung or just say or not guilty or just, you know what I'm saying? The other stuff, it is what it is. I still think it'd be a bad precedent with the sex trafficking because I don't believe in 1 minute Jane was sex trafficked. And I think Cassie would just do it from too long for you to say sex trafficking. They both had real relationships with him. So that still sets a bad precedent. If y'all guys get y'all Diddy hate out your head, y'all take a step back. Take a step back. People go in relationships for a while. He was in a relationship with Jane for 3 years. Relationship with Cassie, 11 years. Take a step back. Get your hate out of your heads. Everybody have relationships with a female, some longer than others, and y'all go back and forth. Bad arguments, bad situations, fights in your relationships. You do not need the government stepping in and telling, you know what I'm saying? And you don't need the government involved in your relationships. Now, if you beat up your girl, that's bad. And if she go press charges on you, you should be prosecuted. But all this extra other stuff, nah, this is setting a bad precedent, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But my real concern was more with that RICO racketeering, because I don't believe that Bad Boy Records was ever a criminal enterprise. You know what I'm saying? Full Metal Helmet, watch him get probation, not guilty on RICO. Okay. Diddy's dirty though. Hey, yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I'm not giving somebody 15 years of life for being that way. You know what I'm saying? I just stay away from him. I just want to hang out with him. If I was Jane and Cassie, I would have just left them. And at times they did leave, but they kept running back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a toxic relationship. I'm just staying out of that. I don't need the government coming in and, doing this and coming in between that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And shout out to Riz Milano. Raze, you be eating roast duck. My dad used to cook duck during Thanksgiving and switch up to goose the next year. So, all right. So not the turkey. Yeah, roast duck is good, man. Them Chinese people, they really know how to make that roast duck. Them Chinese, they know how to make that roast duck. Mm-hmm. But you got to ask, ask Milano, because, the duck, but the duck, goose. Well, I guess technically it was eating goose, duck. I don't know. Long as it's not cat. You know what I'm saying? I eat a goose, I eat a duck. As long as it's not cat, I'm eating out there in Chinatown, in Lower Manhattan, next to that courthouse. You know what I'm saying? And if it is cat, please don't let me know I'm eating cat. Because if I did eat cat last night and that wasn't real duck, that's some good cat. That was some good cat. Long as you don't tell me that's what I was eating. If you tell me if you told me I ate a cat last night instead of a duck out there in Chinatown, I'm going to vomit right now. But if I did eat a cat and I don't know, that was some good cat. If it really was cat. But if you do tell me it was cat, I'm going to still vomit right now. Why he gave her $30 million? Because she is a scammer. And people got to pay up money all the time, man. In lawsuits and this and that. Ebba Bain's in the building. Shout out to you, Ebba Bean. Shout out to you, Ebba Bean. Basketball stars got a chick in every state. And some basketball stars are going to get caught up. They're going to get Zion Williams. I'm telling you guys, stay away from them 304s on Instagram. Stay away from them Instagram models. If you guys got any type of money, stay away from them Instagram models. Because they get to have their cake and eat it too. They get to do all types of stuff with you, travel with you, sleep with you, get money from you. And then when you get in trouble legally, the feds gonna bring them in and say you coerced them. He was paying my month he was paying my rent every month, so I stayed with him. Coercion, that's illegal. You sex traffic that poor Instagram model, Raze. You sex traffic her by paying her rent each month. You sex traffic her. You coerced her to sleep with you, Raze. 15 years of life in prison for you, Raze. Now, then I'll be crying, guys. Nope, it was she got 20 million from Diddy, and she got 10 million from that hotel out there inside LA. He's not guilty, but he did do it. Bro got 8 baddies at least. Well, you know, listen, man, and like I said, I'm just trying to make sense of the whole thing. Shout out to you, Drop or Not. Salute. So, guys, tomorrow, I guess tomorrow is going to be the day. You know, they have reached the verdicts. You know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is. No, it's not a good. It's not a good sign for the prosecution. See, here comes the spin. Here comes the spin. How can in some people's minds that want to see him guilty, how can y'all come to the conclusion that it's not good for Diddy that they reach unanimous? Guys, what if the unanimous verdict is not guilty on those other charges? You don't know this. So how can you say, how does it not look good? They are hung on a RICO. RICO is a minimum of 10 years, up to life. Now, the best outcome would have been for them to be hung on all of them, but then they would have been through a retrial and this and that. Maybe they say he's not guilty on none of them. Nobody knows. I mean, the best outcome would have been for them to, well, the best outcome is to not guilty on all of them, which that can happen tomorrow. But my prediction is going to be guilty on the Mann Act, prostitution, and not guilty on the 2 sex trafficking of Jane and Cassie. Mm-hmm. 3 chicken wings with french fries, says Full Metal Jacket. I mean, Full Metal Helmet, Full Metal Jacket. That was that movie. Yeah. You get a rash from that rat. Trust me. Wow, at that point, I'd rather it be cat than rat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, if I'm eating out there in Chinatown, I'd rather it be a cat than a rat. If you told me that roast duck I thought was eating was a cat, fine. I'd rather it be a cat than a rat. If it's a rat, I'm definitely suing. Yeah. You know? Good cat pause. Yes, good cat. Pause. Shout out to you, Trey. Salute. Yeah. Tom Jones, they trying to be home with family by the 4th of July. And the fact that he didn't testify didn't help. The only question at this point, what you mean the fact that he didn't testify didn't help? They have a hung jury on RICO. Y'all are reaching. Yo, Tom Jones, what you mean it didn't help? He didn't need to testify. It was on the prosecution for the burden to prove him guilty. He is presumed innocent until proven guilty. What do you mean? It hurt his case for him not to testify. So he could get cross-examined for days and days and get caught up and tripped up, maybe lose his temper? What are y'all talking about? His lawyers know what they're doing. What are y'all talking about? His lawyers got him a hung jury on RICO racketeering. What is wrong with you guys? What do you mean? How? Obviously, it didn't hurt him. He has a hung jury on RICO racketeering, Tom. What is wrong with you people? Oh, my goodness. People are so desperate to find this man guilty. It didn't help him. What do you mean it didn't help him? He outright, it's hard to beat the feds with this. He is charged with 5 different charges. He has the jury hung on RICO racketeering, the arson, the bribery. The feds brought in 35 freaking witnesses to go against this man. And you're going to tell me him not testifying hurt him? How? When he has a hung jury on RICO. Oh my goodness. And some of you people are going to be on a jury one day. And you guys are making decisions of people's fate. Wow. Razor Goose is way different than duck. And goose isn't dry like turkey. That's why. Okay. Duck is so greasy. Yes, the duck is greasy. Razor said, fry him some more cat. Yeah, fry me some more cat. the greasy cat. I want some greasy cat. Oh man. Oh man. You kind of confirmed. Let me see what Raymond said. What you said. What did I confirm? You kind of confirmed what I was suggesting, and that's he guilty on one charge, at least meaning the 4 verdicts is all guilty. Why can't the 4 verdicts be not guilty in one charge? Like, you can hope. Like I said, no, I'm not. I don't mind you thinking that the other 4 verdicts or 5 verdicts is guilty. But I'm saying is, why would you think that all of them is guilty or just in one? Well, 4 is guilty and 1 not guilty. Why can't it be the opposite? Why can't it be 4 not guilty and 1 guilty? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows, Raymond. But you still got some wishful thinking. I mean, it is what it is. You see. See, no kitty. No kitty. No Excuse Entertainment is in the building. Salute to you. Delete the video. How you doing? No Excuse Entertainment. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit that like button. Ronnie says free Puff. How many black jurors they had? You know what? I do have a profile of the jury. Matter of fact, I'm glad you asked that question. Let me bring up who was on that jury. Like I said, he already came up. He already did the verdict already. It was 8 men, no, and 4 women. But let me see. I do have a profile of the jury. I do have a profile of the jurors. I'm not sure if I can actually read it because it's going to be so small on the screen. I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys. See if you guys can read it. It's going to come up small on the screen. Let me see. Guess that's it right there. I don't know if y'all can see. Can y'all read that? Can y'all see that? Can y'all see the profile of the jurors? But anyway, I think the youngest juror was a 30-year-old male. Well, I know one of the jurors they had let go was in the 30s from the Bronx, but they said but that's the list of the jury, the jurors right there. Y'all can't see it, right? Yeah, it's too small. It's too small. But it was 8. The jurors consisted of 8 men and 4 women. Now I don't know all of them ethnicities and stuff like that. But imagine 12 Tisa on the jury. Diddy would have been cooked. So do they just ignore the Punisher smashing Cassie for pay? Obviously they do. I mean, they did ignore the Punisher because they should have charged the Punisher. I don't want them to charge the Punisher, but if you're going to find them guilty on a Mann Act dealing with prostitution, that means those prostitutes should be charged. I don't like the targeting of one person. You know what I'm saying? So Tom, are you gonna overlook the Punisher? Because obviously you guys are overlooking Cassie threatening to kill people. Tom is overlooking the prostitutes. You're overlooking the escort company that got money. You could say they pimped out these escorts. So are you going to ignore that? If it's that big of a deal, why aren't the feds raiding, what's that, the Angels and something, where those escorts came from? Y'all guys are targeting. I don't like that. Y'all guys are targeting, and y'all are just like ignoring all these other people that's involved in this, but y'all just want to get one guy, Puff Daddy. Y'all just want to get Puff Daddy, and not this criminal Cassie.
So you're telling me that he showed you a
I mean,
video
if
of who kidnapped Cassie? Then that's not a real video because he's never
in that
me.
position, you would have been naked. I'm just saying, if you
So
were.
he's in the video.
I'm saying if I had a picture
Is
of
he
you naked,
in the video?
Yeah, but I'm saying if I had a picture.
Then that's not me.
But I'm just saying, look, hold on. You have to understand. If I had a picture of you naked.
If there's a picture of me naked, that's completely different than a video of me.
Just being real. So I'm just saying.
So the video that he showed you, he's in it.
Yeah, we can try to pull it.
How are you gonna? Oh no, your phones are right here.
Try to pull it. You can try to pull it. You can try to pull it.
On the internet?
Yeah, you can try to pull it.
Where?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, which phone?
You can bring
The
that phone.
Samsung?
Yeah, you can bring it.
So you have it or you don't have it? Can you just be clear with me? Do you have it?
I saw it and I don't want to ever see it again.
I know you don't, but I want to see it.
Yeah, but I don't want to see it, bro.
Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but I'm
No,
not
I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now.
Man, that's some criminal talk right there, guys. Hit that like button. Tom Jones, are you just going to ignore that? Tom Jones, it seems like the prosecution ignored it. They didn't play that. They didn't play it. The defense played it. The defense didn't ignore it. But the prosecutor said nothing to see here. You know, Cassie, she's just a weak victim. She has no power here. Yeah. Cowboys for Angels. Yes, that's the the escort service, the escort company. Diddy ordered the entertainers from there. So it's like, okay, y'all really gonna find him guilty on a prostitution when he's ordering entertainers. So if he's guilty, then Cowboys for Angels got to be charged and found guilty. Not just charged, but found guilty. But Tom Jones, you don't care about that because really you don't care. Tom Jones, people like you, Tom Jones, you just want to see Diddy fry. Yeah, you just want to see Diddy fry. Free Puff says Santo. Like I said, if they raided the all these places with the prostitutes and stuff like that and made it a real RICO, made it a real racketeering, say they were all in cahoots, they were passing money around, those prostitutes got paid, those entertainers got paid, and Diddy paid them, and you prosecuted them, then I could be more on board with it. I would still say those are grown folks though, but it'll look better. But I would still say those are grown folks doing grown folks things. And maybe we need to look and change these laws about prostitution in the States. You know what I'm saying? And make the laws be like it is in Vegas. You know what I mean? Because to have somebody facing 15 years of life for this type of stuff, well, up to 10 years, with the Mann Act, up to 10 years, it's kind of like outdated and bogus. This seemed like some laws that are being played from the 1950s or 60s. You know what I'm saying? Seem like we would be past these type of laws by now. But shout out to Anonymous. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Cash App, Super Chats are appreciated. Yes. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button, guys. And if they do find them guilty on engaging in prostitution and 2 Mann Acts, and one day the USA does make prostitution legal all around the USA, wouldn't they have to release him if he is convicted of that and he gets 10 years? They would have to release him, right? I mean, you know, what are they doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? But I think for a lot of people, this is your only time to really get Diddy and get him locked up. So y'all are praying that they come back with guilty verdicts on the remaining on the charges. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are praying and hoping. Y'all are highly invested in a guilty verdict. RICO was easily proven, in your feds cherry pick subjects, arrest them all. RICO wasn't easily proven because obviously the jury don't agree that it was easily proven. You know what I'm saying? You know, because like I said, I can't even agree that the Bad Boy Records is a criminal enterprise to begin with, for there to be racketeering charges even brought forth. And that was up to the judge. The judge should have threw this out. But that judge he's in the tank for the prosecution because he was a former prosecutor himself. He's like a rookie judge. He only been on the bench for 2 years. And he's looking at it from a prosecution angle to lock people up. Remember, the prosecution, they get paid for locking people up. They get bonuses. They get promotions. That's their career, to lock you ninjas up. Y'all guys are rooting for that? Okay. I mean, they need to get the guilty ones too, says Christy White. A crime is a crime, says Eureka. So maybe they will go after them too. What you mean, maybe? They need to be, if, listen, maybe they ain't going after nobody else, Eureka. They just want Diddy. For whatever reason, they just want a Diddy. Bad boy. All right, let me see what Raymond said. Raze, we both agree on at least one charge, meaning more than likely the other verdict are guilty. I have no idea. I have zero idea. There's no way there's no way to know. Maybe they say, see, remember, they are deliberating. They were deliberating. And they probably said, let's split the baby. And said, you know what? We're not going to just let them walk out of here with all not guilty. Let's find them not guilty on the biggest charges, which is sex trafficking, right? Unanimously. Let's find them not guilty. I mean, let's find them guilty, not guilty on that, but let's find them guilty on the Mann Act with the engaging in prostitution. With the RICO racketeering, you know what? I don't even know, because these are all humans, and not all human. Some humans are just book smart, but they're not that bright with common sense. Who knows? So I don't even know. I have no idea what this means. All I know is that the RICO racketeering is hung right now, and I want it to remain hung. If it doesn't remain hung, I want them to just find them not guilty on RICO racketeering, especially because that sets a horrible precedent in the United States. Mm-hmm. Yo, so that Punisher effing people wife for money, so basically his clients must go to jail. Yeah, I mean, Ebba Bine, I don't know. It's a mess right now. It's a mess, man. It's a mess. It's a mess. It is. No telling what they're gonna come. He's going to jail for years, says Danielle Swartz. Well, hey, you might be right. Who knows? I don't know. I can't say you're wrong. All I know is that it's some hope that they're about to get rid of this RICO nonsense. Style King is in the building. What up, Style King? He was out there in Ecuador. Shout out to you, Style King. That woman thought she had Paul. You talk about juror number 5, the four person of the black female. Definitely more people should have been charged and convicted. Yeah, and I think that's probably why the jurors was having trouble seeing this as a criminal enterprise. It's just a shame that the sex trafficking carries a minimum of 15 years of life, even more than a RICO racketeering, which is crazy. Like I said, the laws in the country is so uneven. Now, I'm all for the sex trafficking getting 15 years of life if you're dealing with minors and underage. You know what I'm saying? But for you to tell me that Diddy is going to get 15 years of life because they find him guilty on trafficking grown women like Jane and Cassie, it's an abomination. But so be it, because he should not have messed with those 304s in the beginning. And he's an addict messing with 304s. And guess what? 304s get you locked up in today's day and age. And this should be a lesson for grown men in America. And I say, get your damn passports. Yay! And don't be trying to fly them chicks from Brazil, DR, to the States. You're going to get arrested eventually once that relationship fails. The Fed is going to bring them on the stand to testify against you that you coerced them into sexual relations and that you use and abuse third world country females. Believe me, it's coming. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Woo! Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Eureka says bye-bye. Get the passports. Hey, Eureka, I'm telling the guys, get the passports. Eureka says bye-bye. Eureka says adios, passport bros. Hey. Get your passport, guys. They misled everyone with all the fake news on Diddy. Yeah, I mean, I really thought it was going to be some underage minors involved. I thought it was going to be some real kidnappings. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was going to be something huge. But they probably still found the guilty on sex trafficking. He's going to get 15 years of life minimum. I mean, it's a shame, but it is what it is. But at least I'm getting something. At least I'm getting something about getting that RICO knocked off. You know what I'm saying? Because I was out in front of that courthouse railing against the RICO racketeering in this type of case. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is just a warning for guys with money to stay away from those Instagram models, man. Stay away from them Instagram models. I know they look good, but nothing but trouble. And, like I said, y'all guys want to be Pastor Bros and bring chicks back from other countries. You know what I'm saying? You damn sure know they're going to call that sex trafficking. Even if you say you're in a relationship. Obviously, because Jane said she was in a relationship. Jane, till this day, was saying, I'm in love with him. But the government kept telling her that she's a victim. Forcing her to be a victim, guys. So the federal government played dirty. Jane was saying, I still love him to this day. He still pays my rent to this day. But the government kept telling her, no, you're a victim. You're a victim. You're a victim. Coercion. You're a victim. That's how they get down. That's how they play. Tell me I'm lying. Grown lady got with Diddy when she was 35. With him for 3 years. Cassie, grown lady. With him for 11 years. Tell me I'm lying. They ain't got no baby or you in there. What up, Sasua Sasquatch? Shout out to you, bro. Yo, you got a lady Jane saying I'm in love with him. I did the freak offs, to please him and this and that. Yeah, some days I ain't really want to do it, but I still flew out there and did it. And he kept tricking me. I thought it was gonna be. Girl, stop flying there. Be an adult and stop flying and meeting up with him, you idiot. For 3 years. Personal accountability. You idiot. His music was not horrible, so y'all going in on Diddy's music. No minors, no case. Frank Carlota says 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. I mean, if they found him guilty of sex trafficking, he's doing 15 years because the judge can't go no less than 15 years. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? No RICO, just sex crimes. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Real talks. Yo, Style King, don't be trying to bring no chick up back from Ecuador. Style King. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, Style King. Because the chick that you in love with, let's say from overseas, what does she really try to play you out and tell the judge that, hey, we really wasn't in a relationship. It was just pay for play, and you flew her out there. You could be thinking it was just like y'all could have a real relationship, but she can lie and go up there and say it was pay for play. She was basically, you flew her to the States, for her to be a personal prostitute. Guess what? You go in jail for sex trafficking. Like I said, you could go to jail for sex trafficking if the girls say y'all were in a relationship. That is the crazy part. How are y'all not seeing this? Jane and Cassie, they were in real relationships with that man. And they're still trying to get him. Maybe he might do 15 years for sex trafficking, them two broads. Wow. Take a step back. Get your hatred for Diddy out of your heads, please. Y'all have to take a step back. Look at this rationally. You know what I'm saying? That's right, says, yeah, I mean, they could, this is wild. This is nasty work, what the government is doing. This is nasty work, what the government is doing. I hope he's smart enough to know how he's dumb. I bet this clown also believes America had every right to bomb Iran. What are you even talking about, bro? Like, what are you? Craig Clive, this is the wrong stream for that. Alec Bradshaw, every one of these women did it for the bag. Yes, they did it for the clout, the bag, and the fame. And now they have regrets. And the feds is bringing them in there because they want to be proven right. And they want a conviction. And they are telling these women that they were victims. So it is what it is. So no minders, no case. Yeah. It is what it is. We'll see what they found them guilty on. But I'll be happy as long as they get rid of that. They can get rid of that RICO nonsense. At least that'll be a mini win for me. You know what I'm saying? I still don't want them to find. I don't want them to find them guilty on trafficking Jane and Cassie. But it is what it is. I can't force the jury to do, what I want them to do. Them two broads, Raze giving it to us Brooklyn style. Yeah, what you think? What you think about this, Milano? You know what I'm saying? This is nasty work by our federal government. You know what I'm saying? This is nasty work by our federal government. And we'll see.
I recognize the fact that what I'm saying is incredibly redundant, and I know you've heard me for the millionth time, and I'm going to say it for the millionth time because I think it's important and critical that everybody understands what this is. There is no way that if there exists any kind of a law, any kind of criminal justice system, that Diddy should be found guilty of anything, and this may confound you, it may bother you, crazy, because he's not guilty of what they charged him with in federal court. You don't throw these terms around. You don't say things like trafficking and racketeering in violation of the Mann Act and the white slavery statute because a couple of people were involved in what appeared to be basically a big house party and orgy run amok. If you go through the facts of this, that's what's important. And that's what I've been talking and saying. The idea of a racketeering conspiracy is ridiculous. This was no enterprise. This was not the mafia. This was not the Colombos or the Lucchese's. This was a celebrity entourage, a group, a posse. Notice I spelled it P-O-S-S-E. There is no relatedness. There was no enterprise. There is the relatedness component of this, where you can say that the alleged acts and the drugs and the sex and the money and all of that stuff were isolated incidents, not a part of a coordinated plan. And second of all, there's no continuity. No relatedness, no continuity. The incidents were episodic, chaotic, abusive to be sure, but not organized. Chaotic, abusive to be sure, but not organized, not systemic. No one was employed in a criminal network. Friends and girlfriends and staff all voluntarily were present in the orbit the gravitational pull of fame and excess. And that's the way that is. Simple. Simple. A house party, an orgy, isn't a racketeering enterprise. And to suggest that this was sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion is an abomination to the people who have been, in fact, actually involved in that. I would be furious if I was a practitioner. I would be furious. Consent, intent, whatever you want to call it, these were adult relationships at best. Messy, toxic, even manipulative, but they were not, were not trafficking. Agency and participation is another one. Agency as in being an agent. The victims, the putative victims, remained in relationships. They took money and accepted gifts and traveled by choice. No commercial sex arrangement, forced or brokered, was there. It was intimate. It wasn't transactional. It was in the legal sense. Force, fraud, coercion. This is the thing. Did they ever call the police? Were there threats or just power imbalances? Intimidation versus a threat. Did people feel like they couldn't say no based upon the power differential? Threat. Did people feel like they couldn't say no based upon the power differential? Did the prosecution prove intent to exploit? There was seduction, to be sure, but not sex trafficking. This is what is critical. And as far as transportation for prostitution, the white slavery statute, the Mann Act violation, again, act or definition. No one was trafficked across state lines for prostitution. There was a private relationship, not a pimping. This wasn't assignation and all these other great common law crimes. You have to look at the definition of prostitution. Was sex offered for money, or was it part of a consensual, romantic, celebrity lifestyle? No. This is the most important thing in the world. Did the alleged victims, did they choose to travel for parties and events and relationships? Were they told to perform for pay? The prosecution has got to prove that Diddy intended to have someone cross state lines for illegal sex work. Period. End of discussion. And proving that beyond a reasonable doubt and beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt within a degree of moral certainty is very tough, to say the least. They travel for this is a defense spectacle. I have no earthly idea what motivated the Biden administration to involve themselves in this. I have no earthly idea whatever motivated them in the least to even pursue this. What were they thinking? What was the purpose of this? What? No one knows. No one can figure this thing out. Nobody can. I can't. I'm wondering why. What was the purpose of this? Why did you do this? What were you trying to accomplish? Why? Why? What was the purpose of this? Why did you do this? What were you trying to accomplish? Why? What was the point? We don't know. This happens all the time. This was Hugh Hefner, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin. This has been going on. They do football games, and you know, I've asked this question. There's about like 2,000 to 3,000 maybe total professional athletes in baseball, football, basketball in the United States, and of that group, of those folks, of that team, of that group, there are probably more independent groups negotiating parties and passels and hordes and orgies of women that you can imagine all the time. It's been going on since day one, and that's not right. It's immoral, fine, but it's not federal, and it's not. And if there is a God, he must be acquitted, because we cannot live in a system that would allow somebody to be, in essence, violated, to be, what am I trying to say, to be charged with this, to be prosecuted merely because we don't like his sexual activities. Federal trafficking, think children, think people padlocked in trailers and tractor trailers and brought and transported and flown, and oh my God. He must be acquitted. If that jury is even 10% efficient, they've got to throw this out. And if by some stretch of the imagination he's found guilty of this, then they'll get him on appeal. They'll reverse it on appeal. This is horrible.
And that was Lionel Legal, guys. Go ahead and subscribe to Lionel Legal's channel. And I agree wholeheartedly with Lionel Legal, guys. The veteran attorney, you know what I'm saying, and he bringing his professional stance on what needs to be done, what must be done for the good of American justice. hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. We live so far. Hung jury. That's all we know. There's verdicts on the other two counts 2, 3, 4, 5. But hung jury right so far on the RICO racketeering, guys. I mean, that's all I got for you, really. You know what I'm saying? Lionel Legal. Yes, Lionel Legal is the name of the channel. It'll pop right up once you put that in, Lionel Legal. This case is straight BS, says Ty Smith. I think it is too. But, and like I said, personal accountability, Diddy pissed off somebody. And I say, if you get money, guys, have some personal accountability. Don't do drugs. Don't be getting all high and doing wild sex acts with multiple women. And don't be careless, because that can come back and haunt you. You know what I'm saying? Because they can get these women to testify against you, and any little thing, the feds can twist and turn it around and make things seem very horrible for you. And now, setting this precedent right now, they could bring it as a federal charge, federal sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So people need to learn their lesson from this Diddy trial. You know what I mean? Even if he is convicted, he might get convicted. He might be convicted. Who knows? Might be let go. But even if he's let go, still let this be a lesson. Even if he's found not guilty of the sex trafficking, still let it be a lesson to you. Stop dealing with those 304s on Instagram. When you have money, they're going to take your money because they're going to have their cake and eat it to those females. They can, like I said, they can hang out with you. You could take them on trips. You could buy them gifts, pay them money. But when stuff goes south and go bad, they got you because lawsuit. Now we see with these federal crimes, they could claim that they was coerced. That's the legal term, not convinced. They saying Diddy didn't convince Jane to sleep with him. He coerced her a lot of times. So that's a legal term. They just removed the term convincing. No, he didn't convince Jane. He coerced her. So, y'all guys leave with y'all money sometimes. Sometimes y'all buy girls gifts to convince them to sleep with you. Well, legally, that's coercion, and they can nail you and sex trafficking 15 years of life. I'm telling you guys, get your passports or you guys are screwed. And don't get your passport. Don't be trying to be an idiot and trying to fly these girls back from those other countries to the States. Because technically, that's sex trafficking too. Because obviously, it doesn't matter if she says she's your girlfriend or not. It doesn't matter if she says she was in love with you or not. Because Jane did for 3 years. And they still saying, no, you trafficked her. Cassie, in love with him, 11 years. Still say you trafficked her. So I wouldn't trust stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let this be a lesson. Hard lesson. But I guess a lot of people still not going to listen because y'all love them. Y'all love them chicas. And instead of just dealing with them abroad, y'all want to fly them back and try to play house and home with them. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get yourself jammed up. Now, especially if this guy is convicted, if they found him guilty. Like I said, the verdicts are reached. The verdicts are reached. And you know what I'm saying? And he might be found guilty. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. Did he need to start his own oil business, guilty or not? Subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit that like button. Cases like these are great distractions from the crashing economy and war being brung on the horizon. What up, Reef? How you doing? How you been, Reef Omar? Long time no see, Reef Omar. Salute to you. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Man, it's gonna be a huge day tomorrow. I'm gonna be out there. You know, should I? How early should I go to that thing though? I don't want to be just standing out there and no verdict. See, I can get more information. I could bring it to you in real time with me not even being out there because I have all my electronics. You know, I'm underneath my Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But it would be cool to be out there when the verdict is read. But who knows? I think about it. I might go back out there for the verdict. The thing is, I'm guessing that there will be a verdict tomorrow. You know, I don't know. Have to keep all my electronics charged up. Get my backup charger, my portable charger, my backup battery because my phone be heating up and just cutting off. So, but we'll see. Woo! Let me see. Style King is laughing. Shout out to you, Style King. You know, and like I said, man, you know, I think Ray J. If they throw out the RICO racketeering, that's still a win. That's still a win, even though they might convict them on the sex trafficking. But at least they threw out stuff that they should not have ever charged them with. And Ray J was right all along.
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like it's to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, you know, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
Hey, Ray J is a prophet. Ray J is Nostradamus, and he might be right about the RICO. You know, they about to throw that out. You know what I'm saying? You know, Raymond, you gotta admit, if Diddy is locked up, he'll be right at home because a lot of those guys will want some of that. Oh man, Raymond. Oh man, hit them courthouse steps tomorrow. Don't back out now that he's been found guilty on 4 of the 5 charges. Hey, I'm not backing out. He might be. Hey, street smarts. He might be found not guilty of those 4 the charges. You know what I'm saying? You know, who knows? I'm not backing out. I just kind of want to be convenient. See, I want to be live and be convenient because when I'm out there, it's kind of like it's fun, but it's not as convenient reading off stuff off my phone and stuff. I had to connect to some Wi-Fi. You know, give myself some Wi-Fi, you know, through my tablet, through my phone. I had to connect some devices. So it's not as comfortable as being in my mama's basement going live. But, you know, more than likely, push comes to shove, I'll go out there. But the thing is, I don't know exactly what time the verdict is going to be. I don't know. So I'm going to be out there, being around crazy people, you know what I'm saying? You know, as they, well, really, I don't have to. I could be in a park, go to the park, go watch them play some basketball, whatever. And then when I get word that the verdict is about to be read, I can just go live in front of the courthouse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could do it like that. Let me see. He's not getting 10 years, 5 years max, 3 years probation, 1 year house arrest. Let me see. Let me say. Yeah, so that's what you think. So you say, let me see. He's not getting 10 years, 5 years max, 3 years probation, 1 year house arrest, and community service, and a big fine to pay. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, and like I said, I never, listen, I don't mind him having to sit a couple of years. I don't mind it. I just didn't want him to have to sit on the sex trafficking, and I didn't want him to have to sit on a RICO because it sets a bad precedent. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah. No oil in jail. He's going raw. Oh man, y'all guys are brutal. Uh, no street smarts. He has not been found guilty on those other 4 street smarts. You must be watching Tisha Tells. You must be watching Tisha Tells. There is a hung jury so far on the RICO part count 1. They have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Street smarts. They have not said what the verdict is yet. Street smarts. The judge sent them home for the day. They will be back tomorrow, and they will hash out the RICO if they can hash it out. It might remain hung, and then just give the partial verdict on the other stuff. Just give the verdict on the other 2, 3, 4, 5. So Box King says 2 guilty: Cassie trafficking and Mann Act. So you think they pulled the trigger and said Cassie was trafficked? Oh man, that's 11-year relationship, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's on Diddy for. That's on Diddy. You choose what you choose. Like I said, the woman can have their cake and eat it too, because they can do this type of stuff, get into relationships, and now she did get beat up, so she got paid a $20 million, and got paid another $10 million, $30 million, and still have this guy go to jail 15 years to life, which it is what it is. Because really, they brought these charges on him because he did beat her up. That video and this and that. So really, he got nobody else to blame but himself at the end of the day. But still, I don't like the fact that they're getting him on sex trafficking, and that was his girl for all these years. And Jane, I think the worst part would be getting him on Jane as for sex trafficking. I think that'd be worse than Cassie. Because at least Cassie, you could say, well, he beat her up, and they could say, well, she only stayed with him because she's scared. She was scared to leave him. I guess that's the angle, and that she was forced to do the freak offs. I guess. I mean, yeah, I agree. Definitely not a RICO. They reaching with that. Yeah, like I said, Ray J was Nostradamus. We have zero idea, Richard, because they haven't released the verdict. They reached the verdict on 4 out of the 5 charges. They are hung right now on the RICO conspiracy. Blowing Kid Cudi car, but that's underneath the RICO. That's a predicate for the RICO, and they have not decided on that. The RICO was ridiculous. Cassie was literally ordering dudes. Yeah. And Jane went to a freak off also, without Diddy. It is what it is. I think that Diddy will not be found guilty on counts 2 and 3. The jury requested the transcripts from Cassie. Yeah. Hey, street smarts. You must get your information from Tisa Tells. Maybe she's telling you that he's been found guilty. That's what I'm saying, Tisa Tells, because Tisa Tells be hyping stuff up like Diddy is done and this and that. You know what I'm saying? They reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 street smarts, but they didn't tell what the verdict is. They didn't say guilty or not guilty, because the judge didn't want to accept the partial verdict. He said, go back and continue to deliberate. They said, look, nobody is budging on their views of the RICO racketeering. So we are hung on the RICO racketeering, but we do have a consensus on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Counts 2, 3, and 4, 5. One of the counts is sex trafficking Jane. The other count is sex trafficking Cassie. 2 separate ones, right? But both sex trafficking. That's a minimum of 15 years to life if they found them guilty. The other 2 is the Mann Act. 2 counts of the Mann Act, engaging in prostitution, right? With the Punisher and you know what I'm saying, the prostitution type stuff, right? That is a sentence of up to 10 years in prison. From I think 2 years to 10 years in prison. So the judge can have some flexibility with that. The judge won't have no real flexibility with the sex trafficking if they found them guilty, because that's a minimum of 15 years of life on each of those charges, right? The RICO racketeering is a minimum of 10 years to life. So if he's found guilty on a RICO racketeering, the lowest the judge can go is 10 years. So we just want to wait and see right now. The president will pardon him anyway, says Style King. So you think Trump would do that pardon? You think Trump would do that pardon? This is backwards. Remove the RICO and get him on other things. Interesting. You see, well, I was saying also, but Ebabine, this should have been state charges. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's so backwards, because I'm like, well, maybe they feel that it wasn't a criminal organization, it wasn't a RICO, but maybe they would find him guilty on acts of. Maybe they really believe that he did sex traffic Cassie on his own. Maybe he did sex traffic Jane on his own, but he didn't do it in a RICO conspiracy. He didn't conspire to sex traffic him. So they could find him. They could feel comfortable finding him guilty on a sex trafficking because he acted alone, but not on that other nonsense they were trying to bring with drug trafficking and all that other nonsense. But that falls underneath the RICO. So that can be it. But I'm just, who knows? Who knows? Trump pardoned Kodak Black. Yeah, he did. Larry Hoover. Lil Wayne. And speaking of Trump.
Mr. President, more of a big six question, but back when you listened to The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So, I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President,
And there you go. That's your President Trump angle. If he was to be convicted on any of these charges, would Trump pardon him? He had your answer right there. He said, look, we used to be good friends. but I started running for politics as a Republican, and then he said some nasty words about me and this and that. So, but he said that, if he felt anybody is treated unfairly, he would do the pardon. So, I mean, that's that. I don't know. But then all right, could they have filed sex assault charges when Cassie never filed a police report? Yeah, they allowed to press charges for the person. Now they could have went state and did that with the whole Me Too stuff. The state could have pressed charges, sex assault charges, since Cassie claimed he did that, right? And with the Me Too movement type stuff, there's no statute of limitations on that. Even if they couldn't get him on the beat down of the video, they could have pressed charges on Cassie's behalf and got him for state charges for sexual assault and had her come in and testify under the oath that he did that to her. But I guess it means no real proof. I mean, it's just her word versus his. That's the problem with that. So back at square one with this, But then they could use that other guy who went crazy at that Trump hotel and shut up the hotel as a witness. Trump will, but he thinks Diddy will beat it. Like I said, we discussed that. What I don't like is these prosecutors often force these people to be a victim. It happened in Panama too with some Italian dude. Yeah. And like I said, they forced Jane to be a victim. She's getting paid $10,000 a month right now, still to this day, and saying that she loved Diddy, but they are forcing her to say she's a victim so she won't get prosecuted. I guess that's the play. Cassie, I don't, she was subpoenaed, and she told the story. It is what it is. Because I still don't believe that's worth 15 years of life. And like I said, I don't mind them sitting 3 to 5 years. Let them sit 3 to 5 years, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not going to be the one being in jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get my biz, my roast stuck out there. You know what I'm saying? And have a ball, At least I can get, at least I get some type of victory if they do find not guilty on that RICO racketeering. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Is we outside? You big mad? We outside? You big mad that the jury is hung right now on a RICO racketeering? We outside. I bet you was one of the people that said, "Oh, they proved RICO. They proved it." Raze. We outside was telling everybody they proved it. They proved it. All the evidence is there. Kid Cudi car was burnt down. Raze. Oh, what about the bribery? Can't see moms. They prove it. They brung the evidence. It's so easy. Raze. Yeah, that was you. We outside. I didn't forget. You was now we outside. You gotta admit. Look at the picture. Hung jury so far. We outside. Hung jury on the RICO racketeering. Hit that like button, guys. Let's see. J.E. Oh, man. Tisa tells Nancy Grace, Gene Deal, I want to see the look on their faces when Diddy is free. Woo! Chris Berry says, free Diddy. Yeah, I love that roast duck, man, and beers. Gotta have the beer to go with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be a fun day tomorrow. Like I said, I'm more than likely gonna be out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be live. Probably do a couple of lives, and then that'll be the end of the Diddy stuff. You know what I'm saying? It'll be the end. And we move on. Maybe take a trip somewhere and get caught in sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Bring Maria from DR to New York City. They stopped me. Say I'm sex trafficking my Dominican chick. But I'm like, hey, I'm about to give her a ring. I'm about to marry her. No, Raze, you're sex trafficking. You committing RICO. Hey, I want I mean, I want to RICO because of blind up car. I mean, I want to RICO. All right, blown up the car, threatening people, and did tip at murder charges and paying off the hotel for beating up the girl. Well, yeah, I want to RICO. Well, I mean, life isn't fair. Because I want Cassie to be charged for threatening a man's life, but she's not being charged. She's being labeled as a victim.
So you're telling me that he showed you a video of who kidnapped Cassie? Then that's not a real video because he's never
in that position. You would have been naked. I'm just saying, if you
So
were,
he's in the video.
I'm saying if I had a picture.
Is he in the video?
Yeah, but I'm saying if I had a picture.
Then that's not me.
But I'm just saying, look, hold on. You have to understand. If I had a picture of you naked.
If there's a picture of me naked, that's completely different than a video of me.
Just being real. So I'm just saying.
So the video that he showed you, he's in it.
Yeah, we can try to pull it.
How are you gonna? Oh no, your phones are right here.
Try to pull it. You can try to pull it. You can try to pull it.
On the internet?
Yeah, you can try to pull it.
Where?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, which phone?
You can bring my
The
phone.
Samsung?
Yeah, you can bring it.
So you have it or you don't have it? Can you just be clear with me? Do you have it?
I saw it and I don't want to ever see it again.
I know you don't, but I want to see it.
Yeah, but I don't want to see it. Bro.
Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
No, I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now.
Yeah, you see, Indigo son. You see, you want what you want. You want him to be found guilty of the RICO because of the blown up the car and stuff. And I want Cassie to be charged with threatening this poor man, threatening to kill that poor man. So what? Sometimes we don't get what we want in life, Indigo. You know what I'm saying? Because I got the hardcore evidence that Cassie threatened that man's life on audio, was played inside the courtroom. I got real evidence and not circumstantial, not hearsay. I have Cassie's own voice. So I want her to be charged, but I'm not going to get that. Poor Raze is not going to get that. And you might not get what you want, Indigo, with the RICO. So it is what it is. You can't always get what you want. Auto Wheel is in the building. A French tourist got hit with that scopolamine in Rio de Janeiro. Oh man, we're gonna go heavy on the travel space once this verdict is over. We're gonna get heavy into the travel space yet again. Thank you for that information, man. Oh man, people going down bad, getting hit with that scopolamine. I just want him jailed for robbing his artists. Yeah, that's true. See, the thing is, yeah, I've been heard about Bad Boy Records and those shady contract deals. I've been heard about that, bro. You ain't wrong about that. You are not wrong about that, bro. Play the Diddy and Meek audio, says Dre. You know what? I'm gonna leave that one alone. I ain't trying to get sued by Meek Mills and nothing like that. So some stuff I play, some stuff I don't play, because I know how these guys be playing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing everything. I'm confused. Different news all over the place. So what? Do y'all have any updates? I mean, the last update I seen is that the jurors were released for the day, and that they were told to come back 9 o'clock in the morning and see if they could come to a unanimous decision on guilty or not guilty of the RICO racketeering charge. The jurors said, look, we are far apart on that. We can't come to a decision on a RICO racketeering. So basically it's hung right now. It's a hung jury on that charge. But they have found a unanimous verdict on the other 4 charges, which is 2 counts of sex trafficking, 1 Jane and 1 is Cassie, and 2 counts of the Mann Act for engaging in prostitution, I guess, with the Punisher and another guy that went up there and testified, and that's that. they had the verdict on that, but they didn't tell what the verdict was. And judge sent them home and said, come back tomorrow because they want to have unanimous decisions on all 5 charges. They don't want to have a partial decision and have the hung jury on a RICO racketeering, because then that'll have to be either the feds could throw it out or the feds could, bring in a new jury and have them, deliberate on that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows, Mr. Cool Cat. It's still up in the air. It's still up in the air. If they find them guilty on any of those other 4 or 5 charges, which they reached the verdict, they just didn't release the verdict today. They are hung on the RICO part. They saying, look, we are hung on the RICO part, so you could take the horseshoe verdict on the 4 out of 5 stuff, or well, Diddy's defense team said, look, have them keep deliberating. The prosecution said, have them keep deliberating. Have them come back tomorrow. That's what's good. That's the last thing I heard. Mr. Cool Cat, that is just so that's not. Man. Let me see. That gun they found is the least of Diddy's worries. Let's go at the predicate. Let's go at the predicate acts though. Anyway, since you brought up the gun thing, let's go underneath the predicate acts for RICO. That's what's being hung up in the balance. We don't know what's the verdict on the other stuff. But let's go back to the RICO. These are the predicate acts of RICO right here. Let's see. Can y'all see on the screen? These are the predicate acts. Arson, which Kid Cudi came in there and testified to. Bribery, which people were saying he did bribery of the hotel for his video. What else? I guess extortion. Extortion. I guess the $20,000 from Cassie's mom. And I guess, Cassie said that he threatened to release her freak off. So that's like blackmail, extortion. That falls underneath it. Here's an interesting. Does sex trafficking fall underneath? I mean, let me see. Let me go to another source, guys. This is important. Does sex trafficking, prostitution, does that fall underneath the RICO too? So I just have this list, but maybe another list might say more. Let me see what predicates fall under. Let me go do another list and see, because maybe we could get a clearer thing of what's going to happen. Because if sex trafficking and prostitution falls under the RICO and they can't decide unanimously on a RICO, that might be a sign about what's going to happen tomorrow. Because they have a verdict reached with those other things, sex trafficking, and but I'm not sure if sex trafficking is a predicate for RICO. That's the thing. I'm confused. Do y'all any of y'all know? Yes, that falls under RICO too. See, I'm no expert, guys. I'm just Googling now. Google is my friend. You know what I'm saying? So, because that'll give us some insight of what's going on. And maybe sometimes the jury will like, look, we know, because you can practice jury nullification. You can know a guy is guilty of a certain crime, but still find them not guilty because you don't want him to get jailed for that time, for that crime. Look, they know he was giving drugs out. They know he had people buy him drugs for personal use. And technically, the law says drug distribution is if you hand drugs to your friends, right? Drug distribution is on the RICO, right? But they probably like, look, we're not going to give this guy a minimum of 10 years to jail, because the sentencing for RICO is a minimum of 10 years to jail. Yeah, and there's evidence that Diddy handed out drugs at those freak-offs. But you're really going to knock him and give him 10 years to life for that? Because the judge would have no choice but to sentence him. The minimum was 10 years for that. So that's probably some things that's going inside those juries' head too. So just because it's on the code of, yes, he did do it, so automatically he's supposed to be guilty. No, the jury can practice jury nullification. I've been talking about jury. That's a kind of like mistrial. That's a way to get a mistrial also. If the jurors practice jury nullification, meaning, yeah, they have an idea that the guy is guilty of certain crimes, but they still will find him not guilty because they don't like the way the crime code is written up. And that's all I've been saying the whole time. Now, let me see. RICO predicates. RICO predicate acts. Let's see. Let's see if sex trafficking, you know, I mean, I take your word for it that it is, but let me see. Let me get another. Let's go to, let me see. Globe says he's definitely going to jail for 5 to 10. He going to beat RICO, but they charging him with the 4, everything with Cassie. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to get to right now, Globe. Shout out to you, Globe. They have a verdict on the other 4. Well, we don't know exactly. You know, hey, Globe, I was saying in the Pastor Bros, Globe, I was like, look, don't be trying to bring those girls from DR to the United States because they're going to get you on sex trafficking. Because Jane she kept swearing up and down that she was in love with the man. They had a real relationship for 3 years. It was a swinger relationship. Same with Cassie, had a relationship for 11 years, but they still getting them on sex trafficking. So I don't want to hear Pastor Bros talk about they bringing girls from DR and Colombia to the States and that we in love, because nope, things go left. They could bring that girl in to court and she could say you coerced her, you bought her gifts to get her to sleep with you, you paid for played, you know, you paid for played her, and now you want a sex trafficking charge. All right. All right, here's a list. Alleged. All right. Types of racketeering. All right. Types of racketeering. My fault. Types of racketeering. That's the RICO, right? We got murder, kidnapping, which Capricorn Clark said she was kidnapped. This is all in the RICO. This is what's being hung up right now. Okay, let me see. Let me put that back up there. Kidnapping, arson, robbery, use of interstate commerce to facilitate in murder for hire. Hey, you could get Cassie for that then. You could get Cassie for that, for threatening to kill that man. But let me see. Use of chemical weapon. Okay. Use of chemical weapon. Extortion, credit transactions. Traveling in or using interstate commerce facilities for unlawful activities. Hobbs Act, robbery or extortion. Trafficking in controlled substances, which they were trying to say his person who used drugs was trafficking drugs. Wire fraud. Bank fraud. Identity theft. Structuring of financial transactions. Obstruction of justice. Tampering with witness. Now, I didn't see anything about sex trafficking in that. Not on that list, but there may be something. There may be another list. Let me just write it in. Is sex trafficking part of RICO? Let me just do it like that. you know. Is sex trafficking part of RICO? Because it gets confusing. Even though they have them charged separately as sex trafficking. Like I said, the feds wanted him. The feds wanted Diddy. So whatever Diddy did, they wanted him, man. They wanted him. They wanted him. So it is what it is. All right. Yes, sex trafficking can be part of a RICO charge. Okay. The Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act was expanded to include human trafficking as a predicate offense. Okay. That's your answer. So human sex trafficking is a predicate offense. So they probably split the. I mean, guys, it's a predicate. So if tomorrow they said the verdict is guilty on sex trafficking, right, unanimously, that would have been one of the predicates underneath the RICO. Interesting. But I think you need two predicates to find the person guilty, right? So maybe they say, all right, sex trafficking guilty. The predicate is under the RICO, sex trafficking. But they probably couldn't. They probably said, well, arson. There's no evidence of arson. There's no evidence of bribery and stuff like that. So they probably didn't have another predicate to find him guilty on RICO. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to, I'm just putting it out there. Because if sex trafficking is one of the predicates, and you're saying they can't come to a conclusion on RICO, does it mean they're going to find him not guilty on sex trafficking, human trafficking, on the solo charge? Wow. Interesting, guys. RICO is more of a gang affiliate. That's why I never believed that Bad Boy Records is a RICO racketeering type charge, Milano. That's why I was like, they overcharged them. But what do y'all got to say about this? It says sex trafficking is a part of the RICO as a predicate. And if they are saying that they have a verdict on the 2 RICO charges, and if they come back as guilty on the RICO charges on the sex trafficking charges tomorrow, because the verdict is reached, how can they then not say, well, I guess they can say, that he sex trafficked her. He sex trafficked Jane and Cassie without the help of an organization, without RICO. So that can be it too. So I'm just trying to analyze it. Maybe they say, well, he did sex traffic Jane, he sex trafficked Cassie, or one of them. And so that's guilty. And but we don't believe it was a structured organization. So that could be a thing too. So we'll see though. We'll see tomorrow. I just really needed them to get rid of that RICO part, you know what I'm saying? But also the sex trafficking it still opens up Pandora's box though, because now you policing people's relationships and stuff like that. They was with that man for years, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. Sex trafficking charge going to RICO is reaching. They definitely trying to mess Diddy's life up. Yes, that's without a doubt. They trying to mess his life up. Without a shadow of a doubt, they trying to mess that guy's life up. You know what I'm saying? RICO originally was created for the mafia, mob syndicates, etc. Yes, hit that like button, guys. Anybody new to the channel? We had over 300 people in the chat earlier today. Hit that like button, subscribe. Hit like button, subscribe. Hit like and subscribe. We'll be back live tomorrow, definitely. And we'll be back live and we'll see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dude, not only a deviant, he a whole criminal, said GBE. Well, that's what that's what the feds are trying to prove. That's what they tried to prove. You know what I'm saying? Yep, says Maria. Maria. Like I said, people are going to be looking at it and are trying to analyze, what does this mean? How can that predicate human trafficking be underneath the predicate for RICO, but they say not guilty? I say, well, like I said, I think they just saying like me that this was not an organized thing, and they can still find him guilty solo, saying that he did that on his own. He did the human trafficking on his own. So, Eldris Primus, I don't know. That'll be released more than likely tomorrow. They found they came with a verdict, but they did not release the verdict. The judge told them to go back in and come with a unanimous verdict for the RICO, either not guilty or guilty. They are hung up on RICO. They don't know what to do with RICO right now, the racketeering portion. But the thing is, the sex trafficking, you get more years for sex trafficking than a RICO. you could get more as a minimum sentence. Minimum RICO, if you found guilty, is 10 years to life. For sex trafficking, is 15 years to life. So both can go up to life, but the minimum, if the judge wanted to show mercy, he could say, RICO, if you're convicted on RICO racketeering, 10 years. The lowest you could go on sex trafficking, 15 years. So you actually get more time for sex trafficking, human trafficking. And I'm thinking the human trafficking stuff, those should be, that 15 years, the life should be more for if you're trafficking minors around, you know what I'm saying? If you kidnapping people and you locking them in dungeons, you know what I'm saying? And doing that type of crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And you're pimping them out. To our knowledge, nobody testified that he was, pimping out people for pay. You know what I'm saying? These are all grown folks. You know what I mean? And let's listen to Lionel Legal one more time about this whole thing. And then I think I might call it a day.
I recognize the fact that what I'm saying is incredibly redundant. And I know you've heard me for the millionth time, and I'm going to say it for the millionth time because I think it's important and critical that everybody understands what this is. There is no way that if there exists any kind of a law, any kind of criminal justice system, that Diddy should be found guilty of anything. And this may confound you, it may bother you, great, because he's not guilty of what they charged him with in federal court. You don't throw these terms around. You don't say things like trafficking and racketeering in violation of the Mann Act and the white slavery statute because a couple of people were involved. It would appear to be basically a big house party and orgy run amok. If you go through this, if you go through the facts of this, that's what's important. And that's what I've been talking and saying. The idea of a racketeering conspiracy is ridiculous. This was no enterprise. This was not the mafia. This was not the Colombos or the Lucchese's. This was a celebrity entourage, a group, a posse. Notice I spelled it P-O-S-S-E. There is no relatedness. There was no enterprise. There is the relatedness component of this, where you can say that the alleged acts and the drugs and the sex and the money and all of that stuff were isolated incidents, not a part of a coordinated plan. And second of all, there's no continuity. No relatedness, no continuity. The incidents were episodic, chaotic, abusive to be sure, but not organized.
Not organized. Lionel Legal. Before I play more of Lionel Legal, I want to play another clip. And this clip was from like 3 weeks ago, right? And this clip was a guy, a lawyer, and a former prosecutor on Fox News. And this was like 3 weeks ago, when the prosecution was, people were saying, where's the RICO? Where's the RICO? And right now, they are hung on the RICO charges, right? So I'm going to play this because this guy, this person on Fox News says, if they don't hurry up and prove that RICO racketeering, Diddy could walk, right? And right now, the jury is hung on that RICO racketeering. They are not coming to a unanimous decision to convict this guy on RICO racketeering. So let's just hear what this lawyer had to say about the RICO racketeering and why Diddy could actually walk, especially tomorrow if we find out that they voted unanimous, not guilty on the other 4 charges.
John Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial will resume tomorrow as a third personal assistant is set to take the stand. Over the first couple of weeks, jury members heard explosive testimony detailing the alleged physical and emotional abuse Combs caused. Let's bring in David Gelman, former prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. David, welcome.
Hey, Mike, good to be here.
So in week 2 of testimony, jurors heard from a dozen witnesses as prosecutors try to prove sex trafficking and racketeering. What are your expectations when court resumes tomorrow?
It's going to be really interesting tomorrow when Diddy's third or fourth assistant takes a stand, and she's going to actually corroborate Kid Cudi's testimony from last week, where he said that Diddy and another associate of his bombed his Porsche years ago at his house. Now, you have to have corroboration about that because nobody can put Diddy there. And in fact, nobody even can say Diddy's the actual one who did it. But if they can say that Diddy or an associate of his did it, then you may have a racketeering charge there. Because right now, as it stands, Mike, nothing, and I mean nothing, is sticking to Diddy.
Diddy's lawyers are trying to make the case that his escapades do not amount to federal crimes. How difficult is that argument?
I think they're doing a fantastic job, honestly. Look, everybody has said, and Diddy's lawyers even said it in their opening statement, Diddy is not a good guy. There's a lot of domestic violence that occurred between him and Cassie in their relationship. However, what we've heard so far from the testimony of Cassie and the other individuals does not amount to the federal charges that he's being charged with right now. I'm not going to say anything that we heard is very good because it's all horrific. However, the state or the government in this particular instance needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he conspired to racketeer, to sex traffic, and to promote prostitution. So far, they're falling way behind in this. And I know there's a lot more to go in this trial because they're saying it's going to be about 8 weeks. But the government really better step on the gas because they don't have a lot more time to go.
So the play seems to be maybe admit to a state crime that avoids prison time. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Look, again, you're hearing about all this domestic violence, but all that has nothing to do with what Diddy is charged with. There's a possibility, and I'm saying a very strong possibility right now, that Diddy could walk, that he could be spending 4th of July at home having a barbecue.
Interesting. David Gelman, thank you very much for your analysis today.
Wow, that guy probably is Nostradamus also. Guys, Diddy can walk if he is found not guilty on all of those charges tomorrow. I mean, I doubt it. I doubt they're going to find him not. I doubt because the verdict is in. I doubt that they found him not guilty on all of those other charges. I doubt that. But technically, that guy, his prediction can come true because he could be enjoying not Thanksgiving, 4th of July with his family. That could come true tomorrow. They reached the verdict. They just not saying if it's guilty or not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. What are y'all thinking? You know what I mean? But they can't come. Jeff Morphus. That's underneath the RICO predicates, and I don't know what the jury is thinking, why they're making the decisions they're making. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but who knows? I don't know. But the drug trafficking is under one of the predicates of the RICO. Okay, and I believe that it's just gonna be. I mean, hey, the jury's gonna do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And it was personal use drugs anyway. Now, let me see. Now let's get back to our guy Lionel Legal.
Chaotic, abusive to be sure, but not organized, not systemic. No one was employed in a criminal network. Friends and girlfriends and staff all voluntarily were present in the orbit, the gravitational pull of fame and excess. And that's the way that is. Simple. A house party, an orgy, isn't a racketeering enterprise. And to suggest that this was sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion is an abomination to the people who have been, in fact, actually involved in that. I would be furious if I was a practitioner. I would be furious. Consent, intent, whatever you want to call it. These were adult relationships at best. Messy, toxic, even manipulative, but they were not, were not trafficking. Agency and participation is another one. Agency, as in being an agent. The victims, the putative victims, remained in relationships. They took money and accepted gifts and traveled by choice. No commercial sex arrangement, forced or brokered, was there. It was intimate. It wasn't transactional. It was in the legal sense. Force, fraud, coercion. This is the thing. Did they ever call the police? Were there threats or just power imbalances? Intimidation versus a threat. Did people feel like they couldn't say no based upon the power differential?
And there you go, right there. Guy Lionel Legal. Thank you for the $5. HQ Reacts. Check out her channel, guys. Thank you for that $5. Why they dropped the state charges? Trump can now pardon. Trump can only pardon Fed charges. Yeah, no, but see, they didn't technically drop the state charges. It was just they had they dropped the alleged kidnapping, alleged kidnapping and alleged arson as arguments, but they kept the kidnapping and they kept the actual arson. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't actually drop any predicates besides the alleged, because they had alleged see, the judge told them, let's make it easier for the jurors because we confusing the jurors. So why, make it easier, let's streamline it. So they decided to drop the alleged kidnapping and alleged arson predicates as arguments, but they still kept the normal actual kidnapping and arson predicates, which is state. But thank you for that. And it, I know it's just RICO. I mean, they dropped that atomic bomb on Diddy. You know what I mean? They dropped the bomb on him, and he's trying to wiggle his way out of this. But we'll see. I mean, he has a shot. Like I said, that jury is hung right now with the RICO part. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? Jeanette says, Maria, educate RICO doesn't have to. In modern day, RICO doesn't look like what you think, says Jeanette. Let me see. Juice Clary. So there is a verdict on 2 and 3 and 4. So charge 2, 3, and 4, they have a verdict on, right? I mean, count one, they don't have a verdict on. Count 2, 3, and 4, they have a verdict on. Count 1 is the RICO racketeering. They don't have, Big Speed says 50-50. All right, if RICO 50-50, you have to be guilty of the other charges. You can't be not guilty on all 4 charges. And 50-50 on RICO, you can't have RICO unless the other charges are guilty. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, not 100%. See, in if you go by the book, you're right. If you go by the book, Big Speeds. But when you're practicing jury notification, all of that goes out the window. And they deliberating, they debating up in there. Like I said, if you Google jury, if you Google how hung juries go and mistrials go, a juror can practice jury notification, meaning that you could think he's guilty of certain things, but still find him not guilty. You know what I'm saying? And as they're deliberating, what if they say, you know what? We don't really want to find him guilty on sex trafficking because that carries, they know the minimums, 15 years of life, but let's find him guilty on a Mann Act. Let's give him something. And a Mann Act carries a max of 10 years, up to 10 years. And the judge can sentence him from 2 to 10 years. Right? Matter of fact, let me get the exact sentencing for the Mann Act. For engaging in prostitution itself. You know what I'm saying? So I won't keep guessing. Let me see. Let me see what's the minimum sentence for the Mann Act. Minimum. Oh boy. We're trying to get what's the minimum sentences for the Mann Act? Because he's hit with 2 charges of the Mann Act. That's the lowest charge. Maybe they say, you know what, let's find him guilty on the lowest charge, but those bigger charges, let's not find him guilty. You know what I mean? Who knows? Some of them wanted to find him guilty of the RICO, some didn't. Or maybe they say, look, he did these things as an individual. We're not going to find him guilty of the RICO as a conspiracy, but he did do sex trafficking on his own. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a thing. Minimum sentence for Mann Act. All right, right here it says the Mann Act does not specify a mandatory minimum sentence. However, violators can result in imprisonment for up to 10 years and fines. Okay, so there is no minimum sentence for the Mann Act. So they might decide to go ahead and find them guilty. They probably decided to find them guilty for prostitution, engaging in prostitution with the Mann Act, right? And let the judge go ahead and sentence him to what the judge wanted to sentence him, up to 10 years. And not find him guilty for the sex trafficking, because the minimum sex trafficking is 15 years. That's the minimum. The judge can't go lower than that. And that's a maybe. I don't know what they negotiated in there. You know what I'm saying? We just, having some fun trying to, you know what I'm saying? Now, let's just see exactly what is the Mann Act. You know what I mean? What is the Mann Act? What is the Mann Act? Mann Act definition. And they came up with this Mann Act about 100 so years ago because of Jack Johnson, that boxer, because he was, sexing up those white women, you know what I'm saying, when he was a boxer. So, let me see. Mann Act, also known as the White Slave Traffic Act of 1910, is a U.S. federal law that prohibits the transportation of individuals across state lines or international borders for prostitution or debauchery. All right. So this was implemented in 1910. Like I said, during the Jack Johnson era, the black boxer. Okay, and it's still in the books now, and they called it the White Slavery. It's called the White Slavery Act, which referred to forced prostitution and trafficking of women. So you know what? They could just say, you know what? Let's just find them guilty of this. It's no minimum, but it's up to 10 years. And let's call it a day. They don't necessarily have to find them guilty of the two sex trafficking Jane and sex trafficking Cassie. They can still say, all right, you're guilty of the Mann Act, which includes all of that, trafficking and prostitution, and let the judge sentence him the way he see fit. Maybe the judge will give him 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe they just decided, you know what? Let's do it like that. Maybe. But there's still some jurors that said guilty of the RICO and racketeering. So who knows? I mean, it's anybody's guess. Not sounding good for Diddy for Diddy right now, says HP Lovecraft. Diddy, like I said, who knows? Least Diddy know right now he could possibly get off on a RICO, possibly, unless the people that want him guilty of the RICO can convince the other jurors to vote guilty of the RICO. But today they were like, look, we are far apart on a RICO. No side is budging on a RICO. So I don't know how many jurors says not guilty on RICO. How many jurors says guilty on a RICO? That was the first count. Now, if they started deliberations on that RICO at first, since it's count number one, that means that rogue juror from yesterday that was complaining and that they sent a note to saying that, this juror won't follow your instructions, juror number 25, maybe that was because that was the RICO. Maybe that if they was, working on a RICO act at first. But I don't know how many jurors is holding out. I don't know. Who knows? It's going to be a big day tomorrow. But either way, I'm going to get my roast duck and some beer. I'm good in the hood. Let me see if I got anything else. Let me see if I got any more updates about this for you guys. If not, we'll just come back live tomorrow. And but hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Anybody new to the channel? Salute Jake White. No RICO, them chicks like everything he was doing for them. But, you know, like I said, the prosecution, the feds put it out there that they didn't, and they victims and this and that. So they forced it. And like I said, it's hard to beat the feds. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Melissa. She said, great live. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate you, Melissa, for tuning in. I'm trying to get one final update before we break out of here. Let me see if any final updates on what's going on. You know, and let me see. Do we have any final updates on what went down inside that courtroom today? You got to also remember the lady prosecutor Comey. James Comey was the former director of the FBI, right? The one that prosecuted Donald Trump. And I believe that the lady prostitute told jurors to find it guilty. Yeah, we know Donald Trump don't like James Comey. He don't like her father. So Trump might just, you know how Trump is. He might pardon him just to spite the Comey, the father. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's read this from CBS News. Let me see what CBS News had to say. It says the next steps in Sean Diddy Combs' trial after partial verdict. Okay. The jury in Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial reached a partial verdict on Tuesday. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman has the details. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I can't read it. I can only play it. Oh boy, I wanted to read it. All right, let's go to let's see what Yahoo says. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. It's an update. Sean Diddy Combs' trial jury reaches verdicts on 4 of the 5 charges against the rapper. Okay, this is from Yahoo News. Sean Diddy Combs' trial reached verdicts on 4 of the 5 charges. The Bad Boy Records founder, age 55, has been facing charges in New York court, including sex trafficking and racketeering. And on Tuesday, the jury announced it remains deadlocked on one of them. Okay. The judge received a note from the jury stating, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, which is the RICO. Okay. Both sides are unpersuadable. All right. Unpersuadable opinions on both sides of the RICO racketeering. Okay. Count 1 relates to racketeering, conspiracy. All right. The other counts on which the jury has agreed upon include sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Now, the coercion is what they're saying he got Jane on. Coercion and Cassie. Coercion, but more so Jane. I guess the force of Cassie, because they're using the video of the beatdown. See, they played the video of the beatdown so they could prove that, or try to prove that, look, he beat her up. She was scared of him. So he was forcing her to do these freak offs and stuff like that. So he has pleaded not guilty to all the charges and denies any wrongdoing. The trial began on May 5th with jury selection involving a careful process to remove any biased jurors. Let me just see. The judge responded by urging the jurors to continue their discussions and reminded them of the importance of obeying the law in his directions. And he said, look, don't watch no social media. Don't do this and don't do that. Don't talk about this case with anybody. Don't even tell people you are on the on the jury. So yeah, so we're gonna be back here tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Both prosecution and the defense teams, okay, have since asked the judge to instruct the jury to continue deliberating on the unresolved racketeering conspiracy charge. The judge wanted to tell the jury to come back on Thursday, July 3rd. But Diddy's defense team said, nah, we'd rather them come back tomorrow and finish this out because we don't want them to be rushing on Thursday to come to a unanimous verdict on that RICO, thinking they got to rush to get it done by the 4th of July, because the 4th of July, the courts is closed and stuff like that. So Thursday and Friday, I believe. So they won't be able to come back till Monday and finish that out. So Diddy's defense team is like, look, you know, go ahead and let them finish this out. Let's get this over with. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, but that's where we at. Nobody knows. The judge don't know. I don't know. So that's where we at right now. That's where we at right now. Like I said, I don't know. I can't call it. I can't call it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be watching like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come live, but you know, I at least want them to get rid of that RICO racketeering, because like I've been saying, I think that sets a horrible precedent, and this is not RICO racketeering. Bad Boy Records was not a criminal enterprise. So the other stuff, whatever they get them on. I still think it's a bad precedent also for the sex trafficking of Jane and Cassie, because they were in real relationships. But, you know, it is what it is. The jurors made the decision. I don't know if they made it guilty or not. So obviously they made unanimous decisions, whether it be guilty or not on those 4 charges. We're going to see. I don't know. I don't have no updates on Finger. He's still locked up in prison. He is still locked up out there inside Puerto Plata, out there inside Dominican Republic. Finger. Yeah, he's still. It's no new updates on anything on sentencing or nothing like that on Finger. I think he still got to go to trial. Who really cares, dude, and his crew are guilty? Well, a whole nation cares. Every news organization cares. Everybody that's down at that courthouse cares. Obviously, Thomas, you care because you cared to click. You see the thumbnail. You see me on the cover, and you see what the thumbnail says. The thumbnail says Diddy verdict reached. Jury hung on RICO. So you see, right? You see the thumbnail. You see the title, right? It says Diddy verdict. And you cared enough, Thomas, to click on the button and make this statement. So obviously you cared just a little bit to take time out of your night to type who really cares. Let's see. Let me see. Thanks. Lots of great information. See you tomorrow to hear. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna shut this down. There's nothing more to touch on right now. Shout out to you, Maria. Yeah, Finger. Yeah, he's still in there. Say that, Trey. LOL. And like I said, yeah, we'll be back live tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. There's nothing else for me to say. Let me go give you some Spanish chicken right now. Some yellow rice and beans. Some pollo, yellow rice and beans. That's what I'm going to go get. I'm going to get the duck and beer tomorrow. Yeah, the duck and beer tomorrow, because I'm going to be down in Chinatown. Because the courthouse is down in Lower Manhattan in Chinatown. So that's going to be tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow. Right now, I'm getting some yellow rice and beans from the Spanish spot. The Latina spot. They be having some nice looking Latinas behind the counter serving that yellow rice and beans. Yeah. It might make Raze stay a little bit and drink a beer. You know what I'm saying? Just to watch some of them nice Marias. To see some of those nice Marias in the Spanish spot that I go to for the food. And they serve the beer too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my favorite waitress there. I drink a beer. I drink a Presidente. Maria, I drink a Presidente. Used to be around them bad Latinas. Man, I'm gonna get. Man, I'm gonna get. I better stop before I get brought up on charges, Maria. Raze, you charged with your sex trafficking. Because you're flirting with Maria behind the counter. We charging you with the Mann Act, Raze. Flirting is illegal, Raze. She didn't like your advancements, Raze. She told you to stop saying she's beautiful, Raze. You bought the bartender a beer, Raze. That's coercion. You're trying to get in her pants. You're trying to get in her panties, Raze. Coercion. We're charging you, Raze. Oh, and don't forget the jaywalking. Yes, yesterday y'all gonna rat me out. The law is the law is the law. I was jaywalking in Manhattan yesterday. I was jaywalking yesterday. I was breaking all types of crime yesterday. Yeah. I gotta go turn myself in to the precinct for jaywalking. I'm guilty. Oh, man. All right, guys. Let me stop this madness. I'm out of here, guys. See y'all guys tomorrow. Or if something insane break tonight, I'll come back live tonight.